Welcome to the Post-Human Podcast.
Welcome to the Post-Human Podcast, folks.
Yeah.
Tonight we're here. You're already going to realise who we're here with. We're back here with we're from hunchbunny.com, Shotgun
Yeah.
Mike.
Yes, I'm from America. One of the colonies. The colonies. You guys call it that still? Probably not. It's outdated.
We don't. Have you seen America the Motion Picture?
No.
Oh, you should watch that. It's about
really?
the making of America, but it's very, it's not very, yeah, it's this, let's put it this way, there's centaurs in it that look like RoboCop, there's, there's tons of shit. I'm not going to give too many spoilers. It's amazing. It's on Netflix. So anyway, how are you, man?
Oh, fine. Just doing stuff. Just doing nothing. Podcasting. Just podcasting. Or no, I'm not podcasting. I haven't been podcasting because I'm traveling the country. The American country, the United States of America.
What have you, obviously you've been working a lot. I've missed your trippy show, my friend.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to do more. It's just hard to do because
time constraints.
I don't know what to do. I'm living out of hotel rooms, so I'd have to set up a computer there, and I'm working. I got this work. I'm working all the time. I don't like this work.
Yeah, you need to. I think you need to just start like getting onto artists and producing their shit, and then just quit your job and moving around. And
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
It's just obviously it's just a hustle because you're working in that meantime and finding the extra bit of time. It's pretty fucking tricky,
It's so much work. Plus, I'm really like, but yeah, that's all. But nothing's going on. I was trying to think of, but yeah, stuff's going on. Yeah, Charles Cooter's real hot. The summertime is here. Summertime's almost over, I guess now. We're in July, first day of July.
Second today.
Second day of July. This is a big weekend over here because we're celebrating our independence from, British rule or whatever. So
I don't know too much about that, it's kind of a weird bit of history that I've not really looked at because I was like, seems a bit boring, but I'm sure it's very interesting.
In England, they would be like, we don't need to talk about it.
we didn't learn about it once in school, which is,
I had a pen pal when I was in like a young school, like really young, and we would write letters to these pen pals, and mine was from England, and we were supposed to ask them how they were taught about the American Revolution. And this girl said she was taught that we should have been like Canada and we should have just waited, but we were too impatient, and it was basically our fault that so many people got killed. That's how she sold it. Maybe it's true.
Yeah. Problem is, none of us were there. You can't.
Well, another problem with it is, it's interesting that you learn later in life, is that the French were a big part of it because they wanted to get good trade with us. They wanted to not let England have the good trade with us. So they were actually funded our independence, and they had a bunch of people that fought on our side, which is interesting because so it's interesting because it was a whole thing where it was people looking at it going like, I'm going to get in good with these guys, and me and my enemy are going to get together and we're going to fuck over our mutual enemy. I think they were trying to do that, but
well, it's strange about the French because they've got like little they built houses in the fucking jungle, like proper huge, like Victorian Edwardian style houses, and they just sat there in the middle of the Amazon, which is fucked up. It's kind of strange.
It is. Well, that's a weird thing. Have you ever seen going to the movie thing? You ever seen Fitzcarraldo?
I've not. No.
It's a Werner Herzog. It's 1971 or something. It's an old movie, but it's about a guy who wanted to bring Beethoven to the savages of the Amazon, and he. Yes, and he goes out but it's funny because it seems, yeah, it's just crazy how you're watching it and you're watching these cannibals licking their lips as these English people are floating down on their boat thinking about how they're going to eat them, and this guy's thinking, oh, they're going to love Beethoven, and it's like, no, they're going to love eating you. And it's just funny how it's a great movie too. He actually, Werner Herzog had them build a gigantic boat and drag it over a hill. They did drag it over, found a way to drag it over a mountain. It's a big, yeah, it's a good movie.
I'll have to look into that. I've not heard of that.
Oh
No,
yeah,
normally,
unheard of one.
normally anything with cannibals, I'm there.
A little more about, yeah, it's. They really took the crew and the actors, and they took them out into the jungle, and they really were suffering, and
Werner
yeah,
Herzog's he does a lot of documentaries and stuff now,
he
doesn't he?
does
It's
now. Yeah,
the same guy, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, the German guy.
He did the Grizzly Man as well.
Grizzly Man. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always done that because his style of film is kind of documentary-ish style. He gets the reality. This movie's the reality. There's scenes in it where like you can't tell if people are fighting or if it's real or if it's fake. There's another movie called My Best Fiend, like my best friend with the R taken out, about the star of that movie and Werner Herzog, and supposedly Werner Herzog held a gun on him during one scene because he refused to act. Werner Herzog denies this, but or he says the gun wasn't loaded. One of those things.
Well, back in the day, there was always loads of crazy shit going on in films. It's like the what's the name who fell off the boat? Oh shit. Christopher Walken was on the boat as well, and somebody else.
Oh,
And
God, what's his name?
yeah, you know the story.
Natalie Wood.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Natalie
You
Wood.
know what kind of wood doesn't float? Yeah, there you go. So anyway,
I think it's okay to tell that joke as well because I think that happened about 50 years ago. I don't know.
Plus, it's a good way to remember who it was. But yeah, the one guy was on it. The one famous guy. Yeah, the famous guy was I forgot who that was. Was it Robert Wagner? Was it Robert Wagner?
Might have been, yeah.
Yeah,
I know Christopher Walken was on there. He was
I think he might have. It's weird how that happens. Isn't it weird how that stuff happens?
In international waters.
In weird stuff. Well, there was a thing once where I guess I should look it up before I libel him, but like I'll let myself. But I thought William Shatner's wife died in their swimming pool.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. There's a weird.
Yeah, and it was a thing because I think I lived in LA when it happened, and I remember it happening and being like, "Oh gosh, wow, that's unusual that it happened in such a weird way." And then it was like nothing ever came of it, and I thought, "Wow, they're really all upset about."
Do you think it's like one of those things they show on the Mysteries of LA tour?
Yeah. Like, all up in arms about OJ, but William Shatner never seen shit. But that's why OJ should have been on Star Trek. Yeah, I guess she did. She accidentally drowned when swimming alone. Yeah, right.
I forgot that O.J. Simpson was in American Gun 2. You know, the 2.5.
American Gun. No, what was it called? It was called Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. Sorry,
Naked Gun. All of them. He was in all of them. I think he was even on the TV show because they had a TV show for a little period. I think.
Yeah, I rewatched it the other day because I was a bit bored, and I was like,
"Oh, yeah.
O.J. Simpson."
Yeah,
you know those things that you forget about. It's kind of strange. It's like the whole Bill Cosby thing at the minute. That's like blowing up.
Yeah, is that a big deal over there? Are people excited about Bill Cosby?
Well, I know about it, but I know I've spoken to a couple of friends and they know about it. So
Are they upset about it?
Oh, it depends. It depends how you define that word upset.
Exactly. Because I can't stand Bill Cosby's stand up, so now he's going to do stand up again. So I'm really upset about it.
I heard
I'm
his
just joking.
stand up was really good. That's what's
crazy.
crazy.
I'm just joking. Yeah, he had that stand up. It was from the '80s, and he had a TV show, and it was all very. The thing about his stand up, that's basically what this all comes down to. I mean, it's. his whole shtick was how the husband has it so rough. It's like, oh yeah, the wife's got it easy. It's like not so much easy, but she's doing all the hard work. Like women are great, and they're doing all the good stuff, and men are the stupid idiot pigs. He was basically the foundation for all the TV shows that came out after that in America, where it was like a super dumb husband and a very attractive, smart wife.
Yeah.
And that sort of was the based on
It's the
that
model.
sort of. Yeah, I was like, aren't men stupid the way they get them into such? Isn't so? He sort of started that, which is weird because all the while he was the opposite. He was, cheating on his wife and had no respect for her as a human being.
A serial rapist.
Yeah, a serial rapist. No respect for women at all. And I think I've told you that when I moved out to Los Angeles in like 99, well, no, it would have been like 2000, I think. It was a million years ago. One of the first things somebody told me was that Bill Cosby was a huge pervert. And I said, oh, no, that can't be. He's all Mr. Family Man. And they're like, oh, no, he's a huge pervert. Everybody knows. And this was 11 years before it came out. So
I think we spoke about it on your first
yeah,
show.
see?
I think it was the very first show that we did, which was on yours.
Oh, yeah. It's one of my, well, it's funny because Bill Cosby's back again. Although the thing is he was only going to serve another year, probably. So I don't know.
It'd be so strange if he goes into stand-up again, just for his age. Like,
oh yeah, he'll never be able to. He'll never work again. It'd be weird if he became like I don't know. It'd be weird if he became like sort of a spokesperson for men who feel they're being inappropriately accused, which would be horrible for men who are being inappropriately accused because this takes out the window.
Like the anti-Me Too movement, or
it's like if you are being Me Too, you might as well give up now because Bill Cosby's going to ruin your movement. Not to say that it's an anti. I'm not saying that. I don't know.
No, this is all satire anyway, man.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, Bill Cosby's out. And he's coming out. He was in jail for COVID anyway, so big deal. He had to stay at home when everyone else had to stay at home too. So,
well, the way I see it is, it's kind of fucked up what he did. He probably should have served his full sentence, but he's 79.
Yeah.
What the fuck's he really gonna do?
Yeah.
Realistically,
And it's a weird thing where, it is.
Not an advocate for it. I'm just saying it is strange because you kind of don't want to see anybody be really old and die in prison, but he kind of deserves it. It's a weird, it's a very strange sort of, it's hard to get a full perspective and grasp because none of us have been in that position unless, which is what makes it so tricky for me to grasp. And so strange.
He was drugging these women because when I had heard about it, it was just he was using his charm and his fame to win them over.
Yeah.
And the drugging thing is weird because
that's the only part that I get, because even when I was growing up, and then I got into drugs, there was still talk about like Rohypnol and GHB. I think it's the one. And
I guess my thinking was like, not to sound.
But you just wouldn't expect the guy to do it as the.
I would expect him to be able to get women to sleep with him without drugging them.
Yeah.
If Harvey Weinstein can, Jesus. But I mean, Harvey Weinstein.
Imagine if they released that dude in like 15 years or something. That'd be fucking crazy.
And it's strange. It's funny because I was at a used record store a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the dollar bin to just get whatever was the cheapest for fun, and they had a Bill Cosby record that I got for $1. There were two young women at the counter, and they were very disappointed at me for buying it. And I told them, I'm going to use it for samples, and I'm going to make fun of him. And they didn't believe me. They didn't think
okay.
It was true.
Oh, no, I totally believe you. I've heard your stuff. You make fucking music out of anything.
Well, he's got a record called it's called "To My Brother Russell, Who I Slept With." So I'm waiting for Russell to sue him. But I think Russell might be dead by now. But either way, yeah, and he did Fat Albert. That's considered racist by our new American standards. So he can't win with anybody anymore.
Didn't they try and didn't they do a remake of that film?
They did.
Well, they remade it as a film, but I think it
Yes.
wasn't like Keenan Thompson or someone
Yes.
like somebody like that did that.
Exactly.
I
That's
think so.
exactly what
Anyway,
it was.
was it? Oh
Yeah.
wow! For once, I might have got it fucking right.
Yeah, no, it was okay. It was a weird movie. It was strange because they couldn't. It was one of those strange things where.
That was a flop of a film.
I think so. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's funny. Nowadays, it's like, yeah, things like that seem so frowned upon.
He's a super
Having-
funny guy as well, Keenan Thompson.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. Well, yeah, people that probably don't remember is Fat Albert. I wouldn't want to be called Fat Albert. You couldn't call someone Fat Albert nowadays. I
Oh
don't
no.
No, but that's okay. You'd probably just call him Albert. You'd say Albert, and you'd say, which Albert is that? You know, the Albert. You would say everything but fat. You'd say, oh, Albert, the black guy. He has the guy who has the weird hat friend. You'd say everything you could except for he was fat.
It's funny because you're wearing the same colours as Fat Albert.
I am. Well, I'm getting a little. I've been on vacation, so I'm getting this week. I gotta wear my big fat shirt. This
I think
is Chuck
the
Norris shirt.
Ooh.
Yeah, Chuck. Yeah, can you? But
What's your favourite Chuck Norris film?
Ooh, I don't know. I'm trying to think because I've seen so many of them, but I can't think of what they are. What are they? What's a good one? I remember.
Lone Wolf
his
McQuade's
70s
pretty
ones
good.
are What's that one?
Lone Wolf McQuade.
Ooh, yeah. See, that's probably like is there like a legitimate best one. I'm trying to think. What are some of those ones where he was just karate guy kicking people's asses? Those are kind of fun. I don't even know. I'm trying to watch a lot of. Yeah, I'm trying to think because there's a lot of those movies that
They're just obscure though. That's the problem. Is the titles get lost in the ages because there's so much other fucking films and new stuff piled on top of it.
Yes. Well, the thing too is that a lot of those films, it was
I always-
era where I think if you got like if you just saw the films because nowadays they would just be not exciting to people. I guess I don't know.
I always forget the Bruce Lee film that is in. Sucks.
Oh yeah, what was that one? That was.
I always forget.
Yeah, I don't know. That's because he was in a bunch of them. I'm looking at it now.
Big Boss keeps coming to the mind, but I don't think it is that.
Big Boss. Well, there's Top Dog.
Don't know what that is.
It's funny because they're all him in every movie. I'm just looking at his Wikipedia page, and in every movie, it's just got a name and then the rank he plays. So he always plays some sort of a rank. He's either a colonel, a sergeant, or a major, an agent, a detective. But that's all he is. And it's all Silent Rage, Forced Vengeance, Lone Wolf McQuade.
Yeah.
Missing in Action 1 and 2.
Missing in Action. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. And it was missing in Action 2, the beginning. Because if it was a sequel, you'd be like, no reason to watch Missing in Action because nobody gets found. But
Nobody gets found.
Yeah. And then you walk your Texas Ranger.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that's a big thing because Conan O'Brien just stopped his show over here.
See, I've only just heard about. I mean, I've seen him tweeting about, and I didn't know if it was some sort of satire or joke, but he was mentioning unemployment, and I was like, oh, what's this?
He's going to HBO now. But it's funny because he used to be on NBC, and they used to have a lever that was whenever he pulled the lever, it would cut to Chuck Norris. It would cut to Walker Texas Ranger, and with this whole thing with him moving, he told a story about how the lawyers at NBC told him he had to stop.
So what's the deal with that then? How come he's moving?
Well, what it is that he started out a billion years ago. He started out as a show. He was the writer on The Simpsons when The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And The Simpsons was basically only really kind of in its heyday when he was on it, and a few other people. And he was best buddies with Robert Smigel and Bob Odenkirk. They were all roommates at that time.
Bob Odenkirk's
Bob Odenkirk,
amazing.
Exactly, another one. So then he got hired to do The Simpsons, or no, he got offered The Late Show because David Letterman got the David Letterman went from the Late Late Show to the
Yeah,
Late
yeah,
Show,
yeah.
and he got the Late Late Show. It was really weird and really funny. He was really good. Then he did that, and then David Letterman retired, or how'd that work? No, Jay Leno retired.
Yeah, Jay Leno retired.
And then,
So-
since they were both on NBC, Conan O'Brien went and took over for Jay Leno. And then Jay Leno, for some reason, decided he didn't want to retire. So he started doing the show again. And in doing that, Conan O'Brien lost his show, that he lost the Tonight Show that Jay Leno was coming back to, and he couldn't go back to his old show. So he had no show. So he kind of got screwed out of everybody. So he started the show that he is ending right now. And that went to like a weird cable network. It was the TBS network, which is a cable network out here.
yeah.
And the deal was they hired him right away. He was already in Los Angeles, and he could basically do whatever he wanted because it was the only thing on TBS anybody was going to be watching. So that's how that kind of worked. And now that's run its course. TBS has become whatever it is. I don't even know.
Well, HBO are killing it.
HBO's doing it. HBO Max is taking over everybody now.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. They're all going to take. It's going to be. I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of my favourite shows have kind of come through HBO. You know the logo as soon as you see it, that fucking crackling and the then it you know.
Well, it does exactly. So many of those shows, and it's funny because exactly. And then even I don't know what it's like over there, but over here, that's where like things like Ricky Gervais and a lot of English shows. That's where we get them over here. He gets them distributed through here. And so so they've taken over all that stuff. And it's interesting to see all that. So that's where Conan's going. The other thing too is that we're moving into an age now, and I'm interested to see where COVID leaves us with that, because the whole like tuning in at 8 p.m. is a thing of the past. It's like, it's like we had TiVo or whatever, DVRs. That kind of did away with that to some degree, but you still had those strongholds that were like, it was their nightly routine. They did it at 11 p.m. before bed or whatever. But now that's almost gone with everything. So it'll be interesting because now Conan's doing his show. And the big appeal too with these things, I don't know what his deal is, but they get the ability to do whatever they want, I think.
It's kind of like Saturday Night Live. They took a bit of a fall in a way,
Yeah.
They had to do a bit of improvising.
Well, and the thing too is that, first of all, with COVID, that starts everything with Saturday night. The thing with Saturday Night that's weird is that back in the old days, and I mean, I wasn't even around for that, but when the show first came out, they could do whatever they wanted because it was so late. But now people actually watch TV at 1 a.m., so you can't do whatever you want. But I don't know. I remember like there was a thing where I once had this record. It was a CD, and it was a collection of B-sides, because what they would do back in the 60s is when they would put out a record, they would make the B-sides something so weird that nobody would listen to it and nobody would confuse it for the A-side. But as a result, there was this compilation, all this weird stuff these rock bands were doing because they could do whatever they wanted.
What's your favorite EP?
Ooh, I don't know. So what's a good EP? Oh, they're all good ones. I don't know. What's the best record? Good records. I don't know. EPs are good. I don't know.
You seem like a huge EP collector, though.
Ooh, I've got a few EPs. Well, I've got some EPs. It's funny. I'm trying to think what I've got EP wise. God, what is a good EP? Jeez. I don't know. It's stupid. I feel weird because there's so many. It depends on what I'm listening to.
Overkilled your brain.
No, because I've been listening. I'm trying to think what nowadays with things like Spotify or whatever, you don't listen to like. Here's the thing. I'll tell you the thing. I want to talk about music for a second. I've been driving cross country. I had to drive out. I've been driving cross country, so I've been having like long 10-hour drives.
Oh, I should have sent you some music as well.
I get the stuff like the what do they call it? Like the Spotify or the Apple Tunes or whatever they're calling themselves these days, and you get to like so it's I would go through these periods of listening to just various records, and so you'd hear like I don't know, just listening to full records of strange bands and discovering guys like there's this guy, who's the guy? I'm trying to find the thing. Never heard of him before in my life. Listening to weird stuff, like English stuff, like Genesis. I never heard like the
Okay.
Genesis stuff. I really never really listened to.
It's
I
like Phil
never.
Collins
Well, it's
band.
funny because even all of that. Well, I listened to the Phil Collins stuff, and it was all cool stuff, and it was really weird and interesting. But then I thought, wow, this is so weird that they became like Abacab.
Okay.
And I've got to be honest, and I'm super embarrassed to say this. I didn't really realize that In the Air Tonight was solo Phil Collins. I guess I did, but Genesis and solo Phil Collins were sort of interchangeable at that point.
Yeah.
So, but
It's
it's yeah. So it's weird to see how that all changed. That change sort of happened, and then I listened to. Then there was weird bands like God, like I listened to every Beatles on this trip. I listened to every Beatles member one like their first solo record
okay.
after the Beatles, which was
That would have been
weird.
different.
Yeah, because I was like, what were they doing? This was like their shot. This was it. This was their best material because George Harrison was the best example because he'd been sitting on it for years because he was only allowed one record thing. And they all did it a little differently. George Harrison did like a quadruple record that was, or a double record, I guess, quadruple whatever thing now, but that was good. And it was all these good songs that were his big hits. It had My Sweet Lord and all his big hits, which he got sued for. Paul, well, actually, that's the thing. That was actually his second record because his first record, and this is why this is where it gets interesting. The first record was a music record called Electronic Music. And it's like a collection of minute-long electronic noise pieces that lasts about 40 minutes. And it's basically unlistenable unless you're really, really stoned. And even then, you're going to get really bored by like the fourth or fifth one.
That would have been the psychedelic fucking phase, I'd guess.
Exactly. Because that's what he did. John Lennon did the record that was the Two Virgins record, which is him and Yoko Ono just lying around in bed, and then they walk around their apartment, and I think they plug a guitar in, and then I think they eat ice cream or something, and then that's that record. So that was his first solo record. I think he was technically somebody else. Then Paul McCartney's record is just a bunch of songs.
But there was a lot of like impressionism art around that point, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
Probably as an
yeah.
impressionism, it was, I don't know what the fuck kind of art it is, but obviously like Andy Warhol was out.
I was just gonna say
There was a
that's
lot of kind of weird creativity, avant-garde shit that was so out of the box that I could almost
yeah.
imagine him putting out a record where it's him in bed eating ice cream and there's no music whatsoever.
Exactly. Well, it's funny because that is like there's at the same time in perspective, at the same time in what I guess would be considered classical music, they were doing things like that with tape loops and weird stuff. And even Revolution Number 9 on the White Album is like kind of influenced by what was happening with 20th century experimental composers. So it's yeah. So it's interesting to see how those guys must have just been getting sort of bored with rock music. I mean, there's only I guess in terms of what can they do with it, other than do something like Genesis, where you got really kind of a little too heady. I guess not to say it's too heady, but
Do you think it's a bit weird that Weezer have done all their albums in colours? Because they've got a white, a black, blue,
yeah,
green. You know,
they're a weird band. Yeah,
I like them.
there's no, they're a good band. I like them. I like some records better than others, and they're one
Hmm.
of those bands where you reach a point where I'm starting to question if their hearts are in it anymore, or if they just really
Hmm.
like their lifestyle and they
Yeah,
because
they.
if one of them was like a major drug addict, I could excuse it. But otherwise, I keep thinking it's about the money, and I can't let that go with music. I guess.
I mean, I've listened to again. You know, you can pick certain songs out, and they're gold. You know, but
Oh
certain
yeah,
But then, I think their Blue album's all covers, and there's a couple on there. It's very much miss than hit.
Yes,
Um, but
yes.
they've got a couple of a couple of good songs. They did like "Take on Me." The cover of that was pretty good, and
Okay, exactly, yeah. Yeah,
but
no, they're yeah, I'm looking here. They're doing a yeah, no, they're yeah, definitely they like I said, it is one of those things where well, because the thing too is, and this is gonna sound, I don't want to sound like some music snob, but when they first came out, I remember thinking of a band that was real popular in England in their earlier days was this band Pavement. They were like a
oh,
lo-fi no-fi band.
forgot about them.
Yeah, and I remember, and when I was like in high school, that is all my friends and I listened to was Pavement. We loved Pavement, and it's funny because nobody in America loved Pavement. They hated Pavement, but my friend would save up enough money at his shitty job to go to the Reading Festival every year so he could see Pavement, and but anyway, the thing is, this Pavement was very appreciated in America or in England, not in America. Then when Weezer came out, I thought, oh, these guys are doing Pavement, but their guitars are in tune and their drummer's not is sober. And I was like, that's the difference. And I was like, and it was good, and I liked the songs, but it almost made me think of you could say Green Day compared to the Sex Pistols. One of them,
Okay.
there's similar styles, but one of them is the much more disciplined version.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like the Sex Pistols. Um, but the problem is most bands always want to almost recreate that. Most punk bands always want to recreate the old kind of, the Sex Pistols or the Misfits, or there's so many that I haven't seen many that have tried to recreate the Dead Kennedys.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
again, that's a kind of whole different bunch of noise. But
And see, that's a really good point. That's a great point because I feel so much of music with that kind of music. And the Ramones said this.
oh, the Ramones as well. That's another perfect one I was gonna say.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where what could they do? Could they have incorporated like a string section? Because then all their hardcore fans would have hated them, and it wouldn't have been punk. It would have been too weird. Look at what like Iggy Pop did. Iggy Pop did some like weird record. That's something I was listening to on this last road
Excuse me.
trip. He did some weird records in the '70s, which were considered commercial failures, and he was supposedly so whacked out on drugs he doesn't really remember them.
The Maniac.
Oh yeah, exactly. But when you hear them, you're thinking, "Wow, this is an era gone by where somebody said, "Hey, Iggy, here's some money. Make a record because we know we'll make it back, and you'll tour or whatever. Just make the record. You're the artist. Who cares? We're not gonna like look over you." And they did whatever they wanted. Granted, they were commercial failures, but it's one of those things where he got weird, and that didn't do as well as when he was, doing "I Want to Be Your Dog" or whatever.
Yeah,
That's Stone Roses.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
one of my favorite songs is Iggy and the Stooges' "Search and Destroy."
yes,
I mean
exactly.
but even that, "I Want to Be Your Dog," that's kind of so overplayed.
It
It's just
is. It
used
is. No,
in
Search and
so many
Destroy is like
films.
their best. Yeah, Search and Destroy is definitely like that's yeah, that's my favorite record
I
by
think
them.
the Chili Peppers covered it.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think they did.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they did. That's like a funny record too because that's one of those records that yeah, it sounds like it was recorded. Yeah, that sounds. It's like
Yeah.
such a horrible recording. It's amazing it got as influential as it did.
I think, sorry, going back, there's only a couple of bands that I can say that have gone for weird, kind of mixed up sound, and that's like Mars Volta. In terms of
Yeah.
like, I mean, Dead Kennedys were just all over the place, but the only other band that I can say is a bit like that is Mars Volta,
Well,
because
yeah.
they are they're again, they'll do like little breaks, and then next thing it's going wild again, and another little break, and it softens and it goes up and down, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. Another thing too, it seems like. Well, it seems like. Well, it doesn't seem like. I guess it is, but it used to be like punk was like the music that was just like not Led Zeppelin or whatever. And so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could have guys like I always heard like the Dead not the Dead Kennedys, the Clash were like I remember like
Oh, the
they were
Clash,
so
yeah.
weird the way they did like basically straight up like reggae songs, but they were still considered like a punk band. And
It's ska punk in a way, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But then even like there were bands like well, all those bands, like you said, Iggy and just other bands. I'm trying to think of like what
I
are the
wouldn't even
English?
class the Ramones as punk,
Yeah,
to be
that's just
quite honest.
it.
They're more pop, you know?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There was sort of like with Dead Kennedys, or they're a perfect example because there was experimenting in Greg Ginn was like a really good. The guitar parts are very clever and interesting, and it wasn't just him banging out like power chords like Green Day. Nothing against anybody, but it
It's
was
kind of
more.
it's kind of anti-establishment, though, isn't it?
Well,
Ramones were
yeah,
that wasn't really anti-establishment. They were singing, "Warm California Sun," and
sort of. Oh,
the
you
only
mean the
punk song
Ramones?
is fucking.
The Ramones?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It was
yeah.
all
Oh,
pop,
yeah.
way too much pop than
Well,
punk.
their first record was pretty funny though, because it had songs like "Beat on the Brat" and "I Want to Be
Yeah, yeah.
Sedated," and those were just weird things to sing
Blitzkrieg
about.
Bop. Sheena was a punk rocker.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna sniff some glue. They were just saying weird things, so that was funny. The problem is that what could they do with that? They did,
That was it.
yeah, and then with bands like Dead Kennedys or something, they sort of had to implode, I guess, because they could, or bands like X. My girlfriend really likes this band X that was John Doe, and they were like punk rock, but they were kind of like countryish punk rock, and it was weird how that kind of didn't. It's weird how it all became. Now it's Green Day. It's basically that
Yeah,
Green Day
yeah.
style of power chord rock is what we call punk rock. And Sex Pistols. Sex Pistols is really it.
A lot of the stuff from back then, you can almost. Back then, it was all in one category, but nowadays it branches off. So you have some stuff that was like rockabilly and psychobilly back then, but was almost under the punk umbrella. And, there's obviously a lot of like oi and sort of skinhead type music, which is, like the Exploited and shit like that, because that's not even punk, that goes beyond, it's.
Yeah. Well,
It's so strange, though, how there's a lot of like alternative stuff, but it's all so different,
Yeah, it's strange though. Strange how that's what sticks around and what doesn't. I guess
Hmm.
we'll see. I don't know.
Hopefully, mumble rap
Oh,
goes
you
off
like that a
the.
lot. I like that. I want us all to start mumbling. Yeah, who knows? I'm worried that things are gonna go backwards. Like we're gonna start having to listen to. I don't know. I don't know, because that was the thing too with this drive is I listened to records where I thought this record is horrible, and like this is all blues songs. Like I cannot, yeah,
Ooh.
like yeah, not to pick on anybody, but some stuff I was like, this is pretty boring. I was like, Eric Clapton could have put out one song. He didn't have to put out a full record of
It's
this.
just always so grainy as well, the
Yes.
recording of it's always so terrible. I mean, the songs are good, but when you listen to it, you're like, this is really hard to listen to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's quiet as fuck. If the
Or
song's quiet and you can't get all this gain and well, it's not even really overdrive. I don't know what the fuck it is.
I
It's just
think
shitty
sometimes it's
static.
also remastering it because those records were so shitty compared to what you have nowadays. I mean, that's shitty, but you know what I mean. I have like a record. I have like this one record, and I bought it used, and the hit song on it was the person played that hit song over and over and over. You can tell because the first song is really loud and good and clear, and then it gets to that song, and you can barely hear it. So
Oh.
what do that's the thing I talk about. Like when I was like a really little kid, like 4 or 5 years old, that's the first time I ever heard the Beatles, and we had it on a record, and I really loved these songs, and they were all so great. And then the CDs came out, and I was like, oh man, these songs don't sound half as good. What's wrong? These sound horrible. I found out that my family record player was broken, and it played all the records a little slower than they were supposed to be played.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, these are so I thought these songs are so trebly and so high pitched compared to what I was used to. Yeah, that's lost now. That'll never happen again because of digital.
It's the same with like cassette players as well. That was a little bit the same.
Oh, for sure.
Because once those motors started to go a bit after, tons and tons of play and stop and rewind fast, they were pretty crap as well and cheap as fuck.
Oh, well,
Crappy
I'll tell you
cassette
something.
players.
I actually addressed this issue on a former episode of the Shotgun Mike Costello show. I can't remember which one though.
Ooh.
But what I did was I took a digital recorder and I took a tape recorder, like I found one at a secondhand store, like the old-fashioned kind, and I got together with a friend and we had two guitars and we hit record and we did 1, 2, 3, and we both strummed a chord, strummed a chord, strummed in unison over and over and over and over. And it was in unison. And on the digital recording, the guitars are playing, and then on the analog recordings, the guitars slowly go out of time with the digital recording to the point where within less than a minute, they're almost, a set 2 or 3 seconds behind it. And so that was an example of just what one cassette recorder did immediately after recording something, let alone what you're talking about, like the recorder wearing out, the tape wearing out. So my whole point on that show is that we were never hearing the same song. Nobody in the world was hearing the same song when we would put on a Sex Pistols cassette.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And I wonder how, and I don't have the answer, and nobody's ever gonna, but you wonder, has that had an effect on the way we live life or the way the world works? It might have, in a way we will never be aware of.
Probably guess yes.
Yeah, so I would think so. The fact that you had to fast forward something, who wants to sit and wait for a fast forward? I want to hear that song instantly.
Well, I spoke about this on one of my last episodes, was about people that listen to stuff in or watch things like in a 1.5 speed compared to normal, which is kind of a strange like I've spoke to people then they go, I've watched like documentaries at like +2 speed, because obviously documentaries are really slow. Like this animal is wandering along the wilderness, and they're literally listening to it like, this animal's wandering along the wilderness, but they're still retaining the information. And loads of people do it, but I tried to watch a film like it, and I was like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
But it's almost like we're speeding up, because it's a big trend.
Oh yeah,
like,
I think we are.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is strange. That is very strange, and that is what people do all the time now. And what's that going to lead to? I mean, it's like, I guess
shorter lives, because they'll run by quicker.
Well, the thing too is, like, in the case of a documentary, and I mean, who cares? Life goes on, but like the artistic side of making a documentary, that will be, some of that element will be taken out because the minute you said that, I thought, well, because the first thing I thought was, if I was watching a video documentary, that would be maybe, I'm not going to rule it out yet, but that might be the only opportunity I will ever have to see a jaguar move in its natural habitat. And if they're playing that film back, back, that's my only chance. If I'm speeding it up, the experience is lost on me. No big loss, but
no, it is lost though. It is completely.
Yeah, if you start glossing over that, what else are you glossing over?
I mean, there's some of the most magical moments. You watch a big cat come crawling out of the fucking tall grass, trying to hunt down some fucking gazelle, and it just slowly creeps its way. And then you watch that in ×2 speed. That doesn't look as impressive. It just looks like he walks out of the grass and fucking attacks him. There's no. It doesn't look like there's any skill involved.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. That's I guess the next step in evolution would be for, like, those animals to learn ways where they don't have to run real fast, and they could just sit and kill. They'd be like us.
I watched a documentary called Alien Worlds, and it was on Netflix, and most of it was bullshit. Yeah. But they sort of theorized what life and habitats would be like on other planets. Ones that they've found these planets as well. They do exist.
Yes, I think I actually watched some of that too.
It's got like the weird little monkey thing with the 6 sort of arms, and he fucking jumps and does weird shit. Yeah. But maybe if animals had the chance to do that, they probably would. It's just time, isn't it?
Well, the thing about that documentary, if I remember it, because they were saying things like, because I saw something like that. I don't know if it's the same one, but I saw a couple, and one of them was talking about how, and this can, yeah, this will. It was saying how it's all about mass to weight ratio, and it was
Yeah,
saying a kangaroo's mass to weight ratio because of gravity is the same on Earth as a human's would be on the moon, which
yeah.
is why when you watch those videos, they were hopping up and down. But we know they were hopping up and down because Stanley Kubrick shot it in slow motion so that we would believe that we were on the moon.
Oh, we all know Stanley Kubrick shot that, man.
Oh yeah, I watched Eyes Wide Shut last night with my girlfriend.
Oh, let's talk about
Okay,
that.
yeah. I said, oh, this will be good because I'd only seen it, I think maybe once or twice,
Ooh,
and I
not enough.
remember why because it's good and all, but it's still one of those ones where I
It's
wonder. I
it's
got it
hard to it's difficult because it's hard to watch because the plot is so non-linear in a way.
so non-linear, and it does like it's just sort of like Nicole Kidman basically disappears at the halfway point.
Oh yeah, she's gone
Yeah,
till the
for
end.
good. And then she comes back to deliver uh, I mean, spoilers or whatever, but like it's kind of like the last line, the worst last line of the movie, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck thing. And I just thought, oh, come on, that's like the way you would end like a Smokey and the Bandit movie, not like a Stanley Kubrick movie. So that was
Well,
really.
obviously he died, and it was the only film that was ever cut.
So here's the thing. I don't really know, and I'm too lazy to look it up. So you might know, and we'll look it up later if you don't know. But is my understanding that he had finished a cut and then he died, and that was supposedly his cut, that what we see, but what everyone said was that was the first cut, and he never went with the first cut. He always went with like the fifth or sixth cut. So, and some movies he would change after he released them. So if that's the case, then that leads to the whole question of, yeah, who
Well,
cut that, who finished that.
I well, I heard that obviously he did edited his apparently his favorite process was the editing process, not even the filming process, which was so strange because you'd think that being the man that he was, it would be all about the filming process. But apparently it was the editing process. And obviously he died just as, filming had all wrapped, so on and so forth. So he didn't actually get to release it. Warner Brothers released it.
Yeah. Did he have
Um,
anything to do with the edit?
well, there was allegedly it was all done, but then he died,
Okay.
and then there was cuts. That's the conspiracy and mystery. I think I'm a bit too close to my mic there.
Well, my audio is fine, so don't. Yeah, so what's so weird about it is that first of all, it's all steady cam, like the whole movie, and that was okay. But I kept thinking, oh, was that his choice, or was that the? I just kept thinking it was a strange thing to just go with one. I kept thinking about how it didn't look like so many of his other movies. There were never
I,
really any super wide shots, and that's what I always associate his
I
films
think
with.
that's the film he did. He did one film where it was all. There's a certain camera term where it's not straight, but it's just a little bit off. If that makes
Okay.
sense. And I can't remember what the term's called, but there's a term for it, and I think he did that film all in that shot where it was just a little bit askew.
Okay. Well,
Um,
that's
I think so. There's a movie term for it. There's an actual physical term, but I
like a
forgot it.
Dutch angle. That's what like the old Batman from the
I
'60s.
think it
All
is
Dutch
called.
angles.
I think it's called a Dutch angle. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this movie was all like all these Steadicam. It was good. It was good. It's just interesting because I've also heard stories about Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman wanting to work with Stanley Kubrick, him not being too thrilled about the idea, and them buying the rights to the movie Eyes Wide Shut, knowing he wanted to make it.
Well, obviously there's a Scientology angle as well, which is
Ooh.
another conspiracy because Stanley Kubrick had lost one of his daughters to Scientology, and she's kind of
Oh,
in Scientology, which was a weird thing.
Interesting.
Again, I
Didn't know
read
that.
into everything too much. I could be a little bit wrong, but I think I'm right.
No,
Um,
no, that sounds,
but
yeah.
I'm
My
sure
girlfriend,
she's a member of the Church of Scientology, and if you kind of read in between some lines, you can kind of maybe gather that that's where it all probably stems down to, in a way.
well,
Maybe, I don't know.
that's the other thing that's strange about the movie is that, at least from my seeing it for the first time in so long, is that when you're all said and done, it's like this was a group of people that just like to have group sex. Because I guess I felt like it was with the whole murder thing, they were kind of alluding to the way to this Illuminati that runs the world. We were making references to Jeffrey Epstein and stuff, and thinking like, oh, that's what this is sort of saying. These people run the world, and we're the stupid peasants who just play along. And they kind of allude to that, but then we never learn anything. We see their weird sex thing, and then it all ends.
Well, the cult is never fully. Here's where some of the cuts were apparently made. Again, the cult is never. We don't know who the fuck they are. It could be the Freemasons, the Illuminati,
Yeah.
Rosicrucians. It could be anybody. It's left to kind of us at that point. But there's a lot of conspiracies to say that, was some of the scenes cut because of it gave too much of this identity away? You know?
Yeah. It's weird too because I never really. I guess do the Scientology people do weird sex stuff?
I don't think it was the Scientology. I think it was more related to the Freemasons because that's
Yeah.
more UK.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's the thing I
Um,
was thinking. Yeah. There's a few of those groups that are.
but however, there's a weird thing that comes about at the minute. And I've tried to get some more information about it, but it's like the Brotherhood of Saturni, which is like the Brotherhood of Saturn. And that's another weird sort of cult that sort of comes off. And Aleister Crowley had some sort of, doings with it, and it might have been maybe relatable to that. I think anyway, because I don't know, I don't know. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know much about any of that stuff. And the thing is I would think that you would know about it by now with the internet.
Yeah, there's low. It's funny because it's just all about the black cube, essentially, which is like, like a sort of figurehead in a way for, the. I'm going to butcher it, so I'm not even going to attempt it. I need to get. I've reached out to several people from like a Reddit group, but not one of them's come on yet. Which is, I'm trying to hunt down one of these people that have more knowledge about this weird little cult. I've read a
Oh,
few books.
really?
I've read a few books, but it's like I go onto Reddit and there's tons of groups that seem to know more than me, and I'm like, what books have you been reading?
Yeah,
So strange.
interesting. Weird, yeah, because I looked up Black Cube. Well, I went to blackcube.com.
Yeah, blackcube.com. I bet that's a real thing.
Yeah, do you know what that is?
No, I've never been there.
Oh, weird. I thought it
Didn't
was
even know
something.
it existed.
Yeah, I thought it was a hitman that would whack your enemies, but I think it's something business oriented. Oh, it looks totally legit. Damn, I got all excited.
It's the just the Brotherhood of Saturn is what you're looking for.
Ooh.
It goes sort of back to sort of, this is where I'm gonna butcher it, but it goes back to sort of old myths and old gods and Jupiter and Saturn, and there's a lot of cosmology involved and some Greek shit, and there's so much tied into the weird history behind it that you just get so lost. And I love this shit, but even then, on this topic, I don't even know where to start.
Interesting.
But they practice a lot of sex magic, which
Ooh.
is, that's the only reason I was like, maybe it's something to do with that. Because
Weird.
when I read the book, it was a book about sex magic, and I was like, okay, I can see where this might be relatable to Eyes Wide Shut now.
Well, it's weird because I actually have had some people who were in like a cult. A guy from I don't know where it was. It was like more like a Slavic speaking
Oh,
country,
okay.
and he joined a cult. And he lives in, I think, in England, but he joined a cult. And then I talked to somebody who was a Mormon,
Hmm.
and but the thing that's weird about these cults is that they always seem to be like, I always wonder what the appeal is. And with a lot of these cults, I'm guessing, is it just that you get to have sex all the time? Is that like what would be the appeal? I know that's true, but like I was thinking, like back, there was a time in my life where if you said, "Look, you're going to be a slave. You're going to be out there at the airport passing out pamphlets for us in the hot sun, 12 hours a day, but when you come home, you're going to just have sex with whoever you want all night." I'd be
You
like,
get
"Yeah,
super
okay,
high as well.
yeah, exactly,
You
exactly."
get
So
super high. There'll be some food probably waiting for
yeah.
you as well. People will be like, "Oh, I've had a lovely day," and come here,
Yeah.
come to bed. After handing out those 100 flyers.
Exactly. Because what would do it? What would do it? Because even like going to heaven or whatever, it'd have to be a lot more than that to get me. Yeah.
Here's why I don't believe in heaven, because it's like, if it was built for me, well, someone's not going to agree with the way I want it to be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's so when they go, heaven's what you want it to be, and blah. I'm like, is it? And we all go to this heaven. So what? We've got separate rooms. How big is this place?
Yeah.
Because if it's kind of fucking strange. What is it like? Another world? Because
And
then we could all fuck each other up anyway.
not to mention, it just implies that that world will not have to abide by any rules, so you
No,
can eat everything. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would think that it would be more of a
I
yeah
mean, what
a
I find
change.
so fucking stupid is why was it? Where did this like image of clouds come from? Why was heaven in the clouds? What the? And then when you see it on cartoons, everyone's walking around on clouds. It's
It's
fucking impossible.
it's probably because there were if there were aliens at any point, or even meteorites, they saw things coming from out there. So they would realize that there was something out there spitting out these meteorites, maybe, and because I always think, yeah, it'd be something along those lines. But and then when you die, it's just you would guess and wonder, or maybe
I'm
it's aliens. I don't
I'm
know.
glad I see that skill. I segued you onto aliens purposely.
Yeah, so I like it. I like to think of aliens because there's a lot with aliens going on. But
I know. I literally segued to that.
oh yeah,
That's
well
a
is there
CIA
alien stuff
skill.
going on right now? I
Well, they've
thought.
just released the Pentagon thing, haven't they?
Oh yeah, what was up with that? Yeah, I keep forgetting about that thing.
Not a lot. They
I
haven't really
remember that.
confirmed anything. They was like
Yeah.
they had 145 cases that they reviewed, and 144 they couldn't explain. The one that they could was some sort of deflated balloon that was, you know.
Yeah, it's strange. I wonder. I see things you never know. But
I think they're in the sea. That's what my
that
thought
would be,
is.
see, that's the thing. That would make sense. That would make more sense because they
I've
would be
seen.
fish that have evolved.
Mm,
Like,
sorry, I actually seen a video today again, and I just remembered it. I don't know if it's bullshit or not because you just don't know. But there was it looked a bit fake. I'm not gonna lie, but there was some um, American aircrafts, and they sort of got into a dogfight with like a triangular shaped UFO, and it was kind of a bit strange because I don't know. It looked fake and CGI, but with all the stuff that's coming out now, it wouldn't surprise me that it could be real. I don't know. It was weird. Everyone was going, that's super fake. And then I went to the YouTube video, and it was like a 9 minute long video compared to a 1 minute 30. And I studied
uh,
the shit out of that for a good couple of minutes. My son was having his dinner while he was smashing spaghetti into his face. I was watching this fucking aircraft pilot just going crazy and doing this. And why I kind of believed it a bit was because he was doing that deep breathing shit. You know, it was going through some heavy G forces, so it was, breathing out
Oh, okay.
to keep the oxygen in his body, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And once I sort of heard that, I was like, that looks a bit more real. But you just don't know. Someone could have edited like a UFO into a dogfighting video.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that would be the problem. I'd have to see it with my own eyes.
You'd probably be a bit skeptical.
Well, if it's what are they going to do? They could come down. They would have to. What would you do? I don't know what they would do.
Well, they was just trying to lock onto it all the time, and then it was just consistently out banking them and doing weird maneuvers. And
But what would they have come here for? Why would they be messing around with that? Why don't they just go right to where?
this is the thing. I mean, there's no context to say how old the video is either.
What they could
That's
do?
the problem.
Aliens, if they wanted, the thing is like this: if I was an alien on another planet, I would come to Earth. I'd go to Washington. I would go there. You could go just go to Washington and just kill like 1 billion people right there, and say, "Look, here's what we can do. So don't fuck with us. We're here now. Let's all figure out how this is gonna work. But don't fuck with us, because I think that's the whole."
Do you know what?
The scenarios, like the Independence Day scenarios, is that
I'm
there's this invasion.
People keep thinking about like the grey aliens, like the Greylians.
Yeah.
But if we're here and we're humans, why the fuck are we thinking they're all grey? Why wouldn't they just look like us?
Yeah, I don't know that at all. There's no light. I don't know.
That's the other weird fucked up thing. Obviously, clearly there's going to be like planets that have some weird fucked up shit.
Plus, there's things where like, why would they be built like us? Because when you read, you can read. People do this thing where they describe like people who are like anti, what's it called? Or I guess pro evolution, anti.
Yeah.
Whatever. Because
Anti fucking like Darwinism. No, that's the wrong thing to say.
It's called creationism. Where
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is like, why would, if you were smart, why would you put your food eating tube so close to your breath tube where you could clog it up with food? That's like the stupidest place to put it. You'd want them to be nowhere near each other so that there was never any chance of you suffocating. So you would think that on other planets they would have evolved like that, but in all of the depictions they always have a nose in the middle of the face, a mouth in the middle of the face, and 2 eyes. And that's the other thing too, like the 2 eyes is a thing where it's not the best way. We don't get the best view like if we wanted to have a real good view. So who knows? So that's the thing I always think is weird, I guess, is
it is so strange because you would think that again there are huge great points, even in terms of we eat where we fucking breathe, and all mammals on this planet pretty much do that.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Everything does. I can't think of a single animal, apart from maybe worms. I don't know. I don't know how they. I don't know how they fucking breathe or digest. I'm not. You can cut them motherfuckers up and they still live. So
exactly. How's that work? Nobody.
Here's the weird thing. Obviously, people look into like weird shit for like medical science. Why is no one looking at like earthworms and shit? Because you can just cut them up and it's like a clone instantly.
Yeah, I don't know. Why don't
There's got to be something behind that.
Don't they make? Yeah, see, I think they make.
They took. I think they did some shit with cuttlefish and got stealth. Like they had looked at cuttlefish and studied them, and then sort of had made a technology based upon the way that they blend themselves. So why haven't they done cloning with earthworms?
Yeah, why haven't they done cloning with anything? They did that Dolly sheep, and then we never heard about it again.
I think they did all that from lizards as well, didn't they? Because obviously lizards can grow their own tail back.
Well, it's strange though, because that's actually a really good point, because cloning was a thing a few years ago, and now I haven't heard a word about it. And
You've not?
It's not going away. That's not like. So why? I don't know.
China recently, Well, there was a news story about China fucking about with animal human chimeras, essentially. Um, like the way in which you can sort of use you can grow pig organs with you can cross us with pigs and for organs and stuff. But they was doing some weird shit with monkeys as well, where there was crossing monkeys and humans. So
There you go. See, that's what I'm curious. That's what they're gonna do. That's why they're. Wasn't
that'll
that
be a
that's
strange one.
Yeah. See, that's how it'll be. That's how they'll.
But this is why I believe that we were kind of created. Because if people are doing that now, how fucking unlikely is it?
Well, it's funny because in a way we do in a way when you think of like how
We fuck around with the environment. We fuck around with everything.
well you could almost argue we could almost say an argue you could say it depends on it's like terminology because you could say we clone attractive people because attractive people are more likely to attract somebody to the point where they'll have sex with them, and that's how we make other people. We're not cloning like we are not cloning people that are so hideous and socially awkward that they cannot have sex. We are not cloning those people because it just wouldn't happen.
Some people are.
Well,
the
they
UK.
are. Well,
in multiple breeds as well. Them motherfuckers come in
some
packs.
are, but that's always in a weird way. That's where money comes into play.
Well,
But that's evolution too. That's like we evolve by who can make the money.
The way I was, I was talking to someone, and we do need these stupid people in the world just to balance things out.
Oh yeah,
like risk takers. Because if there wasn't any risk takers and stupid people, I think with society it'd just slip a little bit. I think if too many people were complacent, we'd never get anywhere. We need these stupid. No one. The way I put it is like there's so many poisonous things on the planet. How many people died eating those poisonous things? For us to know about that, well, that's a risk taker, And if they weren't there, we wouldn't be eating half as many mushrooms or learning about the good nutrients in life.
Well, isn't that? I think and I read that Terence McKenna book, what's it called, The Food of the Gods. I read that a billion years ago, but I think that was one of the points that he kind of makes is that magic mushrooms were.
It's a good book.
Sort of poisonous, but the thing is the poison is the psychedelic experience, and instead of like it's one of those things where we don't eat them as much as we probably would if they didn't do that.
Well, it's like the fly agaric mushroom that grows in the UK. Yeah. We class that as poisonous, but it's not. It gets you fucked up, man.
Exactly.
But you look in a book, it'll go, "Hey, it's poisonous. It'll kill you." Yeah, if you eat barrel loads of it.
Exactly. Well, that's just what I'm thinking. So that's the thing too with poison. It's funny because that's the other thing with poison because
LSD.
It's like LSD. Yeah.
Ergot.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things where I think hell, alcohol is like it's basically poisoning you, and the effect of your liver taking that poison out is what gets us drunk. So interesting. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Exactly. So over there, because this is a real question I seriously have about like England. It's the only one I could come up with, but it's not really even a question. But my girlfriend says that over there they're all freaked out about the vaccine or something. She goes, "Oh, that's what's going on in England right now." And I said, "I didn't hear about that." And I said, "I'll ask about that." But she said people are getting sick of the lockdown. And she said, that's what's going on here. Because they're saying now we might have to do it again. And I was like, oh, that's not going to happen. I was like, people are not going to go back. It's like, I'd rather die than have to go back to that. And I think people would say that for real.
A lot of people are consistently protesting.
Yeah.
Every time I go onto Facebook, there's a different protest somewhere else. It was meant to be completely released, and it was called Freedom Day.
Ooh.
They fucking named that wrong, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you know if you're ever going to name something in the future, Don't name it Freedom Day and consistently done what you've done for 18 months almost.
Yeah,
You know, it's not quite freedom.
exactly. Well,
But we are getting very pissed off. But, excuse me, a lot of people are just doing what they fucking want to anyway. It's,
yeah, I
it's
think there's that. I guess.
the media kind of does portray it. What's the best way to put it? Their narrative is very one-sided. I know a lot of people that have been extremely complacent with the modern day life. They've got the jabs. That's all it is. They've got the jab. There should be nothing after that. They wore masks. They've got the jab. That should be the end of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's weird because here it's different. It's here. It's weird. Seems weird because, and this is the part where all my friends, if they're still listening, are gonna hate me. But, and I don't like Trump. I never liked Trump. I would still never vote for him in a bazillion years. But I almost feel like when COVID happened, people in this country were like, yes, this'll. We couldn't get him on the election, like we couldn't get him on all this other shit.
Scapegoat.
Yeah. So, or the Mueller report, all that stuff. We're gonna get him for fucking up this COVID thing, and then COVID happened, and so I'm wondering, like, if Biden was in power, would it have been totally different? Would it have been like SARS, where we would have just done nothing and really not worried too much?
Well, there's a lot of talk about Biden at the minute.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's not great.
Oh God, no. I'm not a fan.
Did you hear about
his?
Did you hear about his son becoming a painter?
Oh no, I haven't.
He's become a painter, selling his paintings for, well, they range between $500,000 and $1 million.
Okay, yeah.
Per piece.
Exactly. He was always as bad as Trump. I never thought he was any better. I always, yeah, as far as the family and stuff.
I only heard that on the Flagrant 2 podcast, and Alex Jones was on there, and he was the one that said that. And it is true, but
yeah.
but he said that it's the best way to launder money, apparently.
Well, the other thing too is like, if my dad became president right now, you better believe I would talk all about my podcast on every I could go to. So I mean, which part of it is him being a smart person who takes advantage of good fortune? Because it's an idiot who gets handed, a bunch of money and says, "Oh, I'm just going to give it away," or burn it.
Did you listen to Donald Trump's podcast?
I haven't listened. I did. I used to listen to every speech you did, and I used to splice them up and make funny things out of them. And it got to the point where I got so sick of listening to him that it was just hard to listen to him. But it's weird now because now he's gone, and everything has gone back to quote unquote normal. And now we're seeing how things were never that good, and how even when he was right about something in this country, they won't give him credit for it. And there's things that Biden does. And then there's the whole thing with the whole COVID thing, because I wonder about that. And I get in a lot of trouble for that because I always think, oh, that seems really weird the way COVID. There's certain things about COVID that I question. I don't know, a lot of it. The way we're doing.
When you was listening to Donald Trump and splicing up his audio,
yeah,
did you feel like Jodie Foster when she was consistently listening to Hannibal Lecter?
I did in so many ways, and I almost think I might have even talked about it but I would notice where he would say things where he just wouldn't let things go by. Like if he said, "Oh yeah, I'm talking to Fred over here. He's such a good-looking guy." But he couldn't say that without throwing in, "Not as good looking as me."
Yeah.
Or, "I'm a good looking guy too." Or
the backhand.
Listen, you're like, God, he just can't act, and he can't pretend he's not the greatest guy in the room.
That's what I love about him, though.
Oh no, yeah, it was
just what you said there. The fact that you go, well, he's a great guy, but I've got this, and it could be. And that's what I love about him.
Well, it's
just
funny too because
it's the one up is what I
yes,
love.
and it was silly and it was stupid, and I used to let it get on my nerves. But the thing now that he's gone, and he didn't blow up the world, so he's got that going for him. He because we didn't know, but when I talk to people who are his supporters or were his supporters, they see it all differently. They see it all like, I don't think they even thought he was that great. I think they thought the world is fucked. Let's just have this guy run the show for a while, and let's have him be weird and silly. And when he said things that were stupid, they thought, well, I say things that are stupid, so good. He's like me. I'm sick of these standards where I can't be stupid anymore. And I feel like that's what happened. And now we got Biden in, and it's like, who cares about Biden? And
Well, it's a different pace, isn't it?
oh yeah,
You think about the pace of Trump tweets, fucking left, right, and center
every day. That's the other thing too. He was just riling us up, and he was teasing people, and he knew he would make them so angry. He was so good at that, and it worked out great for him.
Ultimate troll.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how many people would reach out to him and try and get him on their podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure he would never do
I
it.
bet you. Oh no, I bet you wouldn't. But it'd be so interesting.
Yeah, I often wanted to get people who. Yeah, I mean that's the thing because I've always been open to like talking to people, and I talk to people off of podcasts who support him, and when I talk to them, their whole thing is it's not about how great he is. It's about how everyone else sucks. Hillary sucks. Rich people suck. Elon Musk. Those are a bunch of rich assholes, and they all suck.
Well, Donald Trump portrays himself as a working man, essentially, doesn't he?
Ass. He's like the punk rocker. He's like the one saying, fuck you. I don't care what you say. I'll say whatever I feel like. And I love that it pisses you off. And you're like, yeah, finally. And I think they like that.
It's almost a great publicity stunt, isn't it? You know, if he'd have done his presidency and then launched that podcast, and it would have been big. It would have been the biggest thing on the planet.
Yeah, supposedly that was, I mean, depending on where you read, but supposedly that was the idea, that the presidential bid was just a bid to get a better TV show than The Apprentice.
Yeah.
So,
well, because that's the thing, you know. I didn't really watch The Apprentice, but I watched the UK version. No, sorry, that's Dragon's Den. Sorry.
Okay.
But he was on it for fucking years, man. And to then to go from that to being president, you'd want to have something bigger.
Well,
you know,
it's strange too because when he had the show, I actually did see it because I had a roommate who loved it, and I'd see it whenever she would watch it. But the thing is we lived in Los Angeles, and it was television, and I'm not trying to be all like whatever that is, but we all knew everything was fake. Like I would never watch anything on TV and think it was real. The Daily Show was good because it was fake. So it was a double negative, which made it real. But anyway, anytime I would see something like Donald Trump, I would think to myself, or anybody, whether it was like Conan O'Brien or somebody I liked, I would think, oh, they're like a Hollywood person. They need to say what they're told to say. They need to act the way they're told to act. They need to look good. They need to look in a way that is not going to offend people. They can't say things about Nazis or gay people or things that might trigger the right wing or the left wing. They've got to play the middle so that nobody's getting offended. And so basically my point is everything you see on TV has been carefully crafted to be there, and it's fake as fuck. And so when Donald Trump ran for president, I thought, wait a minute, why are we voting for him? He's the fakest one, it's fake. That's not who he was. We should know that. But I don't think I think they like the attitude he pretended to have.
I think people just like the drama.
Well, yeah,
that's the other thing. If you look on YouTube, I'd guess at least, a good 70-80% of it is just like aggressive assholes or, fight videos or, there's not a lot of, I mean, don't get me wrong, there is quite a bit of positivity, but
really?
When you really look on there, it's just easier to find negative stuff rather than positive.
Oh yeah, I think that all the time. Such a negative world.
I see. Why have you never gone onto YouTube?
Oh, for the podcast?
Mm.
Because
Too many episodes in and you can't be asked.
too many. Well, so I was gonna try to do that. The thing was see, the funny thing. Well, the thing is, before the podcast is up now, I used to do the podcast before for the studio, and those podcasts are all gone because it was on their server, and this server's gone now. So
Okay.
yeah, so I lost them all, which is a huge bummer. But because I put a lot of work in them, that's why when I say it's an episode 500, whatever, I'm not joking. I used to do like 3 episodes a I like every week I had to do 3 episodes. I did it for like 5 years, so I was like, I was up there. So, but the point is that I did video with them and stuff, and the thing was, is doing it live was weird. It was limited with what I could do live because I'd have to play the music. I'd have to have if I was going to play music behind me talking, I'd have to have it ready to go
Yep.
and all that. And if I went and things like that, and I could do it, and I did do it, but I just thought, fuck it, I'll just do the audio. I don't care. And I guess I could do the video, but then I got to start. This is like, then I have to make this room look better. Maybe I will. We'll see. It depends on where things go. I should make a studio in this
Guessing.
place. I'll start
You
doing
should,
that. That's
man.
a great idea. Maybe I will.
You see, I wished I'd have latched onto it sooner, but a fair amount of people I've spoke to have all done music. And a couple of episodes ago, I had a guy close the show out with music.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a good way to end the show. Rather than just have a standard, because my intro's the same, my outro, it's all the same. And I was like, it'd be cool to close a show out with just a song. And then, bang, end it at the end.
Exactly.
So that's my latest pursuit.
Well, see,
So if there's.
that's what I did on that old show. But the problem with that show is I had a wealth of music that was other people's music. And that's nice because if you get a 5-minute song and you've spoken for 25 minutes, or if you've spoken for 55 minutes, you say, all right, this was great. I'll see you guys next episode. And quick, you cut to the song and you get
Yeah.
5 minutes on.
Well, it wasn't even for that. I just because this was where it got tricky because I want to do it live into the podcast, but I was also thinking about then because obviously and I was like, well, it kind of sucks to just get someone to come in at the end. So then I was like, do I have someone do I then get them to do a song in the middle? Because then because occasionally you get halfway through a show and it's like 3 hours and you need a piss. So you're like, I can fill that dead air time because it's there anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm trying to gather up a whole bunch of musical guests.
I'm
and
curious.
I might just have a guest and then a musical guest every fucking show.
And so when you do the music part, how is it being recorded? Because if they're going to play live, because I did that before, and through Zoom or Skype or whatever we used, it sounded kind of shitty. Like the quality wasn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, lately it all depends on their equipment as well.
Yeah,
Is the other problem. If they're using if they're recording it on their phone and it's kind of a bit unplugged, it's going to sound shit.
Exactly.
If they're using like Shure microphones and they're on it, it's a lot easier. But I don't know. It's all just
send it to you.
yeah. Well, that was the other side. I didn't know whether to do that. But I thought it would kind of be cooler to just bring them in and.
Well, that's the other side.
Yeah, but it's a tricky thing to, like I said, that's why I might bring them in halfway. Then they can do it on an interval, stay for the remainder, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to navigate it. I'm thinking before the show, obviously I'll record and like run stuff, like the pre-show, like audio check kind of thing. And
so when you
I
say
don't know.
bring them in, do you mean like bring them into the room, or you mean bring them in?
Yeah, bring them into the
like
room, man.
Physically.
Yeah,
like
no, bring them.
life.
No, bring them into like the Zoom.
Yeah, because that's what I'm curious about. Because that's why I'm wondering. Well, yeah, see, I'm interested about that because we'll probably never podcast in person again. What'd be the point?
What do you mean?
Well, I used to watch some podcasts on YouTube that were two people that would sit in a room and talk.
Mm.
But now they do it remotely because of COVID. And why would they go back?
Well, oh no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you
Because they
mean.
want to have to be in a. One of them's going to have to leave their apartment, and one of them's not going to like that.
Mm. Yeah, well, most of these people are already podcast hosts, and
Yeah,
they do stuff on the side. It's like a side gig.
that's true.
Just music production, so it's already there in a sense. The only way I come about it was just because the guy I had on, I was like, "You want to close it out?" And we just sort of improv'd out the end.
Ooh.
Kind of worked. I was a little bit fucked, but it was a good vibe for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no. See, I've tried to get. I've had people come on and do songs, and I've done both ways where people come on and one guy played his guitar, and it was through Zoom or something, and it was good, and I played it, and you could hear imperfections because of Zoom, but you could hear the song, so I let it go. But
I've
then
seen.
better would be to just send me. For other people, I just said, just send me your studio recording, and I'll play it as we talk.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was the other flip side of it, as I was just going to do that, but it kind of seemed less exciting, and I don't like editing. It kind of defeats my purpose.
I guess. Yeah, I wanted it to be all editing. I wanted to have people. I tried to get this rapper guy, and I said, get a drum machine and just rap along to the drum machine, and then tell me what the beats per minute is, and then send me the rap, and I'll put the music and the beats to the rap,
Okay.
and we'll just do that. And I said, and you'll get free production. I said, pick songs you don't have on recordings. I said, you'll get a free produced song of that one, and even if you hate it, so what? It's free, and that'll be like the fun thing we do. And he didn't want to do that.
Uh,
But it's okay. That's how
well,
those rappers are. They're very temperamental.
yeah. Yeah, rappers are. That's the
Yes.
problem. Is it's always side gigs and hustles and
Exactly.
living the lifestyle of a rapper.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. They're always getting their teeth capped. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on over there.
Oh,
They're great. Yeah. He was actually an English rapper. This guy. He was a young child rapper.
okay.
Yeah, he was a kid. He was a child. He found me. He was like a young child.
I think I listened.
yeah.
I think I listened to it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. He was nice.
yeah. I think I actually listened to that.
I'm hoping he becomes like somebody very rich and famous, and that podcast will, be the one that launches the show into superstardom. He could be the next. I don't know if he could be Miley Cyrus.
He'll be the next Miley Cyrus.
So like the boy rapper version of Miley Cyrus.
That'd be like I don't even know who that would be.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know who Miley Cyrus is anymore.
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Miley
Oh
Cyrus.
yeah, no, she's great. She's yeah.
She's wild, man.
She's
She just
wild.
does.
Oh, I know.
You can't hate on someone that does just bees themselves.
I know. I
you know.
agree. I agree. I will say that I've said that numerous times about Miley Cyrus. I give her props because she was given a situation. It's a very rare situation. It's almost unwinnable of being like the child star who's just a phony piece of crap. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Well, her dad was super famous as well.
Yes, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He couldn't turn it around. He could never escape achy breaky heart. But she did weird recordings where she took a bunch of drugs, and I don't know if you ever heard. Yeah, she does the one record where she talks about how she smokes pot and she loves it.
She's one of the only celebrities I'd love to smoke a spliff with.
Yeah, well, she loves doing it, and then she did her nude tour where everyone's supposed to be naked.
Yeah, I love a new album.
Yeah,
Her album's amazing.
That one.
You should. It's a good album.
Yeah, I heard the Flaming Lips one, and I like the Flame. She did that one. It was very weird.
In fact, she's got a new single out as well.
Interesting.
I think it's called "Without You," and that's pretty cool.
Without You.
I think it was on a film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because oh no, sorry. In fact, she played it on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry, she was on Saturday Night Live when Elon was on.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. That Elon Musk. What's his deal?
What's his deal?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Let me ask you this. He's the guy behind Amazon, right?
Hmm?
He's the Amazon guy, right?
No, that's Jeff
Jeff
Bezos.
Bezos. No, he's the other one. Who's he? He's Well, the question goes for both of them. They were rich before they had their one big idea, right? Jeff Bezos was rich before he did Amazon. Right?
Hmm. Well, I watched a weird Alex Jones documentary about Elon Musk,
Oh yeah.
and I'm a fan of him, but he claimed that Elon Musk's parents were South African. They owned an emerald mine or some bullshit like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that?
I don't.
I mean,
Listen,
isn't that
I'm
what
just.
happens then? I mean, isn't that like what's going on a lot of times? Like what? Like there's apartheid, and then there's like.
I don't. I've never really looked into it. I
I'm
just.
assuming it's something like that. Put it this way: if I was white with an English, if I was younger and white with an English accent, and I told you that I grew up in Africa, I would, well, if somebody said that to me, I would assume that they were rich white people that were exploiting the African workers.
Maybe.
Because they're definitely not sitting out there like, I don't know, picking rubber tree plants or whatever they do. I don't know
Well,
what they do in Africa.
the documentary said,
I've seen
and
blood
I don't
dogs.
get it.
I know that much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of it was true, but it just said that obviously his family owned like emerald mines and all this shit, and obviously all of his companies went bust, and then essentially he made a weird contract for Tesla to begin with. I can't remember the full ins and outs of it, and then obviously he took over Tesla, and
Exactly.
it's a weird story.
That's what I'm saying. Well, so with all those guys, it's like who's the other one? I can't get them. All these rich white guys all are the same to me.
Well, it's like the McDonald's guy,
Oh yeah.
you know, Ray Kroc.
Okay, yeah.
He obviously McDonald's, you know, he stole that.
Well, yeah. I figured that. I was thinking like the other one, the Facebook guy.
Oh, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, because he supposedly stole that. And then Jeff Bezos, all he did was he said, "Hey, look at how catalogs work. I'm going to do that on the internet."
Do you remember people were there was like obviously YouTubers and stuff fight now, and you know there was a moment where people wanted Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk to have a fight.
Yeah. See, that would be good.
And now obviously Jeff Bezos looks like, well, he's jacked. He looks like he's been taking roids and shit. He's super jacked. You've got to, if you've not seen a picture of a before and after, you're going to be like, man, that dude looks like a super villain. He looks He did, yeah, yeah, but now he looks like a super jacked one. Now he looks like one that's got superpowers.
All right.
He looks like he could be in fucking Watchmen.
Interesting. Jeez.
One of them in a black shirt, and you can just tell like the difference. There's like a before and after.
Man, wow, he's
So I'm wondering why hasn't Elon got on the the testosterone replacement therapy
well,
yet?
Because
Because
he's doing the space thing, right?
yeah, but I think if that boxing match ever takes place, I think Jeff Bezos might be in for the win because he's looking pretty big.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm looking at that. Dude, he does look good. He doesn't look that. Yeah. Interesting. These guys look like they aged so fast. Who knows?
But here's the funny part: is obviously he had that divorce and now he's super jacked.
Exactly.
You know.
That just tells you what a bad person, what a horrible person he is. Because even with all that money, he couldn't get a woman to like him. So he's like, with the women and the perfect body, maybe then he'll get like a date.
I think he's. I think he'll... Oh. Excuse me. I think he'll get more than just a date.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure he'll be like.
Coughed up a huge mouthful of smoke there.
Yeah, God knows what he's doing. Yeah, who knows? What do you want to
This is
think
my
about
first
it?
show where I've been able to properly smoke as well with you, man.
How comes that? Why is that? Oh,
I could,
because it's the daytime.
no, because obviously last time I was like in my
That's
house,
what
whereas
I'm
now
saying.
I'm
Well, I guess
in
daytime.
studio.
I guess that's what I'm meant. I mean, because you're outside, sort of.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Outside,
I'm not
outside.
quite outside.
Well, I'm just saying, you're not in the kitchen.
No, I'm not podcasting from my kitchen or my bedroom no more.
Exactly.
Which is a big difference.
Really? And it's a little better? You like that better?
Oh yeah, I can smoke. I can do what I want. Got some lights that fucking change color. You know.
Yeah,
Look at that shit, man.
I'm gonna work something up. I'm gonna work something up. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about that tonight. That's actually gonna be something I'm gonna put a lot of work in right tonight. I'm gonna start doing
You should,
video.
man. I mean, I don't even post my videos yet, but
Yeah.
again, man, this is the other difference. I've got cool props and shit now, man. Look at the fucking skull.
Oh
I've got
yeah.
a fucking drinking horn here.
Oh, wow, see.
You know.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do that too because I got a bunch of
All
props
mess
I
of
can
stuff, man.
use.
Do you know the reason? I think the joy of it is you feel more yourself because it's all just you and your shit and it's your environment.
That is true. Plus, people know.
But I'll have to say the Tommy Knocker style lighting and when I smoke it all out, it gets fucking really heavy in here. Just a lot of green, man.
I
It's
can
crazy.
I can see. Yeah, looks good. Looks really good.
Check this bad boy out, man. Oh, this son of a bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
What is that? Where's my gun? I can't find my gun. What is that? Is that like a real gun?
Nah, man, it's a like an old fucking Western replica thing.
Oh.
It's pretty cool though.
Because I got
Oh, see, this is why I love talking to Americans. Oh, this motherfucking
I'm an
thing.
American and we all have a gun. But this is
Oh
a BB
yeah.
gun. This is a BB gun.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a BB gun. It's pointless.
Yeah, in this country, you're not allowed to have them completely black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you've
This
got to have
might
them
be-
like
This is.
orange
I think
and
that's the
blue
way it
and
is in this country, but this is
sprayed.
It's really old. It's super old. This is like
Oh, okay.
my dad's BB gun. He was a
I used-
hunter. He hunted very weak animals.
I used to have a little tiny Colt 45 gun.
Ooh, really?
It was like tiny, but it was a BB gun.
Ooh.
But it was they got, well, they used to sell them. It was like one of the most expensive little BB guns you could buy in the shop. But it was tiny. It was powerful as fuck, and it was sick. So it was the precision on it was amazing.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors earlier on when I was sat out here had a rifle, little pellet rifle, and like every so often I'd hear this boom. Like to begin with, I didn't know what it was, and I'd hear this like, and he was shooting a tin can.
Oh.
To begin with, this little tiny pat of this wood, and all of a sudden there was this boom on this big steel fucking drum. To the point I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck was that?" So I was sat in here editing and shit.
Exactly. So it's a
Um,
little...
But I was like, I kind of wanted to go. It's been a while since I've had a little piss around with anything that fires.
Yeah. Well, I haven't in a long time.
Yeah, that thing hasn't even got like. I mean, to be honest, if you you could easily convert that thing, just because of the way it's made.
Yeah.
But it'd be a pain in the arse. It'd probably only fire, I don't know.
Oh, I live in the heart of the United States. I could get like 20 like AR-15s by
Oh,
by
yeah.
dinner time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could get them. Not even that. You could just walk in and come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I talk about how I have to work around Trump people. You should see the gun people. They love guns. God, they love guns. They never understand.
What's your thoughts on guns, man?
Well, they're okay, I guess. For depending on what you're going to use them for, I guess. I don't know. I guess like
You ever owned anything more than that BB gun? Sorry.
well, when I was younger, we had a family friend who had like a shooting range in his basement, and my dad would take me over there, and we'd shoot guns, and I was very, very young, and I didn't really care about it. Then as I got older, it was a thing where, like in my high school, one of my neighbors got shot. It wasn't in my high school; it was in another high school. In a neighboring high school, when I was a kid, one of my neighbors, who I knew, got shot by the police. So right out of the gate, it was like, and now that's of course like everybody's doing that. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, but I was doing it back before it was cool, and I remember thinking, oh, this isn't that. This is kind of weird how guns are so popular, and yeah, and it was funny too because I used to have like this book when I was younger, like in high school age, called "Free Stuff for Kids," and you could mail to people and get free stuff. And I got a free sticker that said "Ban handguns," and people got so upset about that sticker.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they got really upset, and I never understood why, because I thought, oh, I'm just joking. I don't care about this at all. I was being a punk kid who just wanted to rile people up, and I didn't think anything of it. But man, when I saw how people got upset,
I guess it's like wearing a peace symbol during Vietnam. That kind of like, you know.
Well, I have a shirt. My friend used to be a police officer. He was a police officer back he's like back a million years ago. And he has a shirt that says, "The police are your friends." And it's a stupid shirt. But when I wear that out in public, people get really angry at me. Like really angry. Like they yell at me.
There was a Joe Rogan episode with Tim Dillon.
Oh, okay.
And Alex Jones.
Yeah, I
and
think
Tim
that.
and Tim Dillon come on the show with a Free Ghislaine
Yeah.
t-shirt on. And it had like Ghislaine Maxwell's face on it, and then like Free Ghislaine underneath it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can clearly tell that's a fucking joke
Yeah.
t-shirt. But obviously, the shit that you know what I'm getting.
Oh, yeah. Well,
The
hey.
same sort of principle.
Well,
You know?
yeah. When I was like again when like we were little children, when I have an older cousin and he had a shirt and it said "Free James Brown," and he wore it to a Christmas once, and my mom got real angry at him.
Free James Brown.
My mom said he beats women, and yeah,
Well, that was what was so fucked up.
yeah, but
about
he was the
back
guy.
then. It was just the norm.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
He was the godfather of soul. Kind of right.
Yeah, well, that's just it, sort of, unfortunately. My girlfriend and I were talking about, let's talk about controversial wife-beating musicians, because we were talking about how, I don't know what it's like over there, but nobody talks about Ike and Tina Turner over here. We talk about Tina Turner, but nobody listens to their music ever, because it's good music, and you don't want to admit that Ike Turner was really good at playing guitar. And
my mum was a huge Tina Turner fan.
yeah, well, Tina Turner's okay, but Ike and Tina, when you hear it, you gotta.
Yeah. Not really heard any of it. So
I never did
comment.
either till I grew because of that. And then when I got the internet, I was able to go on and find out. And Ike Turner was a really good guitar player.
Maybe I'll have to look into
Yeah,
it.
it's not bad. Although Tina Turner's good too. And that record she put out, that big record that made hers, nobody wanted to release that record. And she said, "Just do it, and I swear it'll be a big hit."
Which one?
The What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, okay. I thought you was on about the other one.
Oh, what's the other one? Thunderdome?
Oh wait. Is that even Tina Turner?
It might not be.
Wait.
She did "We Don't Need Another Hero." That was a big hit.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, she
That was
did.
Bonnie Tyler.
No, "We Don't Need Another Hero." That's from.
Oh, I thought you said "I Need a Hero."
Oh yes, exactly. Oh yeah, no.
Sorry,
No,
it's
no.
because I was trying to remember the tune of that, the song I was
Bonnie
in my head.
Tyler. Yeah,
I was.
that's right.
Oh, I've lost
Not
it
a
now.
hero
I think
songs.
it might have been Whitney Houston, who I was thinking of actually.
She had an abusive husband too.
Well, like I was saying, it was like the running trend back then, wasn't it? Especially even in the music industry.
It seems like it kind of is, sort of, all the time.
You know, if you was a bloke, you was a dickhead, and if you was a woman, your manager was probably a bloke, and he was a dickhead.
Well, what's her name?
You know?
Britney Spears. She's having trouble with her dad right now.
Yeah, that's so fucked up, man. She's like
Yeah.
older than me, and
But the thing with her is that she's one of those Disney kids, and those Disney kids, they were like slaves from the get-go.
contracts
Oh
were
God,
like
yeah.
ironclad.
Oh
You know?
yeah. I know people that worked on iCarly. It's like a sweatshop.
I'll run this one by you after the show.
Okay.
This is a different.
Okay.
I should have probably spoke to this about this before. It's I'll have to skip over that and make a mental note to talk about it after.
Okay.
For those listeners out there, I might keep it on record after the show and put it on my Patreon.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Ooh, good thinking. See, I should try that. Too.
Yeah.
Good thinking. I gotta think about that.
Well, this is what it's all about. Is you got to try and get some. Here's the thing: it's like it costs £1 just to support somebody. What the fuck is £1 a month? And if I gave you £1 and then you gave me £1 or whatever the conversion rate, it still works out the same. You know, there's like minimalistic difference. If anything, I'd be paying you more compared to the 70 or 75 cents.
Yeah.
But if everybody did that, then I think this is how a lot of Patreon supporters get so big. Is that if I had 500 grand spare, I'd just give 500,000 people £1.
Yeah.
And then I'd have 100,000 subscribers.
Do you think like?
You know, it's.
I don't really know anyone who's doing that on any of that stuff.
Tim Dillon's doing extremely well on Patreon. I think he's like number 1 on Patreon at the minute.
Oh yeah. I guess I'm thinking
Which?
of people I know.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know. I don't really do the Patreon thing. I had a thing.
You should.
I just don't keep up with it.
That's the only other problem is there's so many platforms, and then once you upload to one, and then another one, and then unless you've got some sick RSS feed that does it all for you, you know, it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, just even like my show normally, again, like 59 minutes shortest, 3 hours 26 the longest.
Wow.
You know, you have two shows a day. You know, that's like fucking almost 8 hours just in the little bit of camera setup time, and you know, it's standard work day almost.
Oh yeah, that's what I say. That's the thing. And then you gotta then I don't know.
So but I was like I say, if you're just a one-man show, marketing on top of that,
Well, that's the thing. It seems like it's just
PR and
work. Yeah.
so it's difficult to do all of it unless you've got a partner who will do it for you.
Plus you
Which
can't
I
say
haven't
what you
yet.
Feel like. Fuck Coca-Cola. See,
Fuck
I'm not worried about anybody. I think
Coca-Cola.
Books on tape sucks. I say whatever I feel like. I'm not worried about
I have
it.
got a good book that you might be interested in reading
Oh
though.
yeah. Oh no, I like
It's one of my last guests has got a good book about. Well, I won't give too much away. His name's Lucky Wilder.
Oh, okay.
It was literally my last. I won't say my last guest, but one of the last guests.
Oh, really?
The last one that I posted. And his book's called Panopticon, and it's it was on Amazon and now it's apparently free. So somehow during the show, I didn't even convince him to make it free, but he
Really?
convinced himself to make it free. He had a great time, and he was like, I'm just going to make this book free.
Oh, wow.
And he totally should, because even now I'm repping it, and he's also now writing another book, so it's just going to increase his numbers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
David Wong did the same. He released his first book free, and he's, you know, pretty fucking good. I'm pretty sure Stephen King's released a lot of his stuff for free as well in his time.
Well, how do they make any money? That's the part I...
Well, it's not about that though. It's the second book, isn't it? You know, you bring people in, you've got a fan base.
I suppose.
It's the same way in which now, if you took all of your 500 episodes and spent a week and you put all those onto YouTube and Patreon,
Yeah.
man,
Well, that's why
I wouldn't even know what would happen.
Well, see, I gotta quit my job.
It's a gamble, but I reckon
Well, if they could fire me, they won't.
if they can. What's the company called?
Yeah, I was
We'll
gonna
get
say
you.
some of them
We'll
do
get you
listen.
fired
Some of
right
those
now.
stupid idiots do listen to my podcast. Those worthless pieces of shit. They do listen to it. In that
Make this
stupid,
man
crappy
redundant.
company that nobody wants. So maybe they won't like what I... No, I'm just kidding. They're not.
Oh no, me too.
No, it's actually not bad. They're good people, but I hate working. So
Yeah, it's just a grind.
Oh, it
That's the only
is.
problem.
I hate it.
You know, it's
This is the first
especially
week
if
I've
you're
had the week off. This is the 7th of a 10 days off I've had, or 12 days off I've had. It's the longest period of time I've ever had off in my entire life, like even ever.
well, you know what you need to do for them next 5 days.
What's that?
Upload all your shit to YouTube and Patreon.
Okay, I guess I'll try. Well, that's why I'm doing this. I figured if I could get like a lot of time on this, I'll split it up and I'll do.
Oh yeah, you can take this.
Because that's the thing.
You haven't even got to ask.
going
You
out-
can just say the return of Tim Turner.
Oh yeah,
Because
no,
I've
I
done
do
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You
Exactly.
can just you can take this, mash it up, psychedelic it out, man.
Exactly. Well, that's what I was gonna do. I think what we should do is have it be where you post what I say and I'll post what you say, and people have to listen to them both at the same time. And then to get what's going on. So we could do that. We could go 1, 2,
Well-
3. And then everyone hit the play button on 3. So you'll have to get out your phone and your girlfriend's phone, or
I
however
know what
you
you're
do
saying.
it.
Yeah.
But you will do it like that, and then we could do that, and that would be great. And even if we got like 3 people to do it, oh man, those
doubled.
3 people are gonna have the best experience of their life, and we'd be the first ones in the world to do it.
I think it's easy. Well, it is easy, but
It is.
it's my last show is split like that because of the audio tracks. It's like I was saying, one of them was really tinny. The other one was just. It's because I recorded in 2 programs.
I see.
So- That's fucking wires getting in my way. How did it get around that?
Well, maybe we'll try that next time. Do some sort of secret messages.
You should do some music, man.
Oh, well, I'm trying to. What is it? I don't know what that is. Music. Oh, I'm doing music. I'm doing a lot of music lately. I've got all sorts of these cassette tapes I found. I've been getting all
This is what I love about this. I was going to ask, what have you found?
got
Because
the
there's always.
cassette tapes.
Okay.
Oh, I've got all my. Oh, you should hear it. I've got it all.
There's always something.
I've got
This is
this
what I
thing
love.
that's got recording on it, but it doesn't work anymore. You can't use it, so I've got to play it. But yeah, I'm
I
just.
don't even know what that is.
It's
It
just
looks
like
like a.
It's a mouth.
A jewel.
It's a recorder. It's like there's the microphone and the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just this thing. It's not that old, but it's before the days of. It doesn't hook up to my computer, so I've got to get a cable. But I've got a cable somewhere here.
Was it a micro USB?
Oh no, it's just a headphone cable. It's just a
Oh,
regular
an
headphone.
aux.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not even digital.
Jeez.
I know. That's why I'm hesitant. But we'll see. We'll see. That's all really. There's nothing too exciting going on. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. I've been gone. I had to go away and then I came back, and then what happened? I came back and now I'm here. And then tomorrow.
Yeah, but maybe that R&R time's good though.
Well, it's good. The thing is that for this job I have, I've got this horrible job. Next Tuesday, I'm going to another state, and I'm going to basically be there till the end of August. So I'm going to be gone. So all the stuff I use, I'll be gone.
So a month away. You need like a you can get like portable little podcasting things.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called now.
I've got like a tablet thingy that I could use, or I was thinking I could get it. Yeah, and I've got like a laptop I have to use for work, and so I could maybe use that. But
I think you need to, man.
But I like goofing off. That's a thing. That's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah, yeah. That's the problem I have is that I I took like I've been taking things like I got these 4-track tape. I found these 4-track tapes,
4-track,
and there's people singing on them, and I can get the vocal track, and I can put it into my computer, and then I make music for them, and I can make new songs using these old lyrics that are on old 4-track recordings. But I can't do that in a hotel room because I don't have all that stuff with me.
Where the fuck do you find most of this stuff, man?
eBay.
Let's get some real light in here.
Yeah.
eBay, wow.
eBay is the only place left, or looking at garage sales. Secondhand stores are hard to find that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for a 4-track.
Yeah. Home movies are good too. Home movies are fun too, and those are impossible to find.
Yeah, it's because all the pedophiles and serial sex offenders have stolen them.
No.
That's why. Some 1-hour photo kind of shit. Or Red Dragon, you know.
Pedophiles ruin everything. Sort of. You know, they do. Kind of.
I know. Epstein Island could have been a paradise.
Well, it's like I am a grown man. I'm a grown man without children. So I will literally never speak to a child till the day I die, because they're all going to think I'm trying to rape them. So I just will never speak to them. You know.
You not got any nieces, nephews?
I've got 2 nieces. Well, I've got a niece, but but she's.
But no, I know some people that are weirded out by just talking to children.
Well, here's the
like,
thing.
If you're just sat there on a bench and a kid runs up to you and starts talking to you, you're like, huh.
Well, I
you know,
have a niece, and here's the thing, and this might be too gross or weird or perverse for a podcast, but I do have a niece, and I actually lived with her once for a little while when I was moving, and she's really sweet. She's really nice and a nice little girl. She's not that little anymore, but at the time, she went to the bathroom, and she needed somebody to, I don't know how they say it in England, but I guess.
Yeah, I know. We know what we're talking about. Sort of. Yeah.
And she's my niece, and and I would never dream of hurting her in any way, shape, or form. But all I could think is, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it is an awkward thing. Even, again, like, I've got a 2-year-old son.
Yeah.
And we're just about, like, potty training him at the moment. But it's kind of weird, because I remember being a kid, and I remember running around in my garden and naked, and it was, like, all enclosed and shit. And there was no harm. Fuck all came of it, you know.
Exactly.
And it did no harm, and I learned to use the bathroom very fucking efficiently.
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean, I was thinking in terms of, because I had to babysit her, and she didn't have to take a bath or anything, but.
Oh no, but obviously in terms of my son, you know, it's like really hot here at the moment.
Oh yeah.
And you know, in this modern day and age, I'm like, do I let him sort of run around naked like I used to because there's, you know, cameras and whatever? And to be honest, we just let him run around. We didn't give a shit.
That's what I do.
We're pretty enclosed, and you know, our neighbours are cool, and I don't suspect anybody, so there's no harm, no foul, you know.
Yeah, that's what I do all the time. And my girlfriend's always like, "What about the neighbors? They're gonna see you." And I'm like, "Who cares?"
Yeah, they're not gonna. the dark side of the podcast.
I don't know, who cares? And it's like, why should I be ashamed?
Yeah, no, it's true, man. Yeah, well, this is the problem, and we haven't even really got into the major heat yet. So you know, within the next couple of weeks, it's still going to be running around with his fucking nappy off, and you know, it's funny. I did make a minor joke about it, but that's for my own comedic bits. I ain't putting that on the air. That's
like, is it hotter now than it was? Does it feel hotter than ever before?
Oh, for this country, kind of, yeah.
It
You
is
know,
in this country. It's really hot, and it's hotter than it's ever been. But
I mean, winter we didn't really get much. I don't even think we got any snow really. We got a few days. Um, but
yeah,
occasionally, you know, we can get snow in like April and shit, which is weird.
yeah. I guess
It's
that
not
happens here
unheard of.
sometimes. Interesting.
Well, you did. Well, you know, America did. 'Cause Texas got fucked
That's
up, man.
right. We're
They
like
got
at the
the
same.
worst
We're sort of at the
storm in
same
years.
length, aren't we? We're at the same sort of latitude. Is that why we were settled by the English?
Hmm.
Is Mexico at the
Maybe.
same latitude as Spain?
Yeah. Maybe it's just easier, like for circumnavigating reasons.
Yeah.
You know, if you go in, it's easier to go in a straight line than it is to go diagonally, or you know, you don't plot a course and go, okay, we're gonna go 50 miles into sea, and then we're gonna take a hard fucking
Oh
left.
yeah, you'd be really
And
stupid.
then we're gonna. I don't know what the fucking sea terms are. Port,
Yeah,
starboard.
port, starboard, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know which way is which.
No, no, yeah, you can't. Because I've
But
been out so far out the water where I couldn't see land, and that was the
yeah,
thing.
me too.
Well, that's the thing when you get really far out, it's like you can't you can get lost.
There's
Easy, is what I
there's
said.
no sense of direction.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You
trying
know.
to say. So I could see how. Yeah, you'd want to stay
I was
straight.
I was talking about like urban exploring and caving
Mm.
a couple of days ago, and like you know when you go into caves, obviously it's all everything's the same, and you go through gaps, and 1 minute you're upside down, and then you're on your belly, and like a lot of people like get disorientated to fuck and lose which is like up from down, and it's
Yeah.
kind of weird how that just little things like that can impact your brain so
Oh
much that
yeah.
you
Yeah.
lose all sense of like, am I up? Even in water?
Oh yeah.
You know, if you go like snorkeling in caves and shit. There was a story about a guy who was snorkeling, and again he was like snorkeling in caves, and he just was following a line, and then he lost his line and lost all sense of direction, and because you just don't know what the fuck's where, and you know it's so bizarre because you know, like I say, you're swimming downwards and then you're coming up and round, and
Yeah, that's what
it's so
happened.
weird.
The reason, yeah, I was just talking about this about because something came up with somebody fell in the water, and they couldn't find. They fell so deep in the ocean that they got lost, and they started panicking. So they started swimming towards what they thought was the surface, and by the time they got to any certain length, they realized they'd gone in not the right direction, and they were that much further, and they didn't know what direction to go in, and they drowned.
That's the worst thing is panicking.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's impossible not to panic.
No, well, that was just it because
It's an
yeah,
auto reaction, man. You know, for like as a prime example, if you know, I was in a fucking little lilo, like a little rubber boat on like the beach,
yeah,
and I got drifted out to sea, and you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, I look around and I'm like, wait, where's the fucking beach? You know, I mean, you see it a lot in like comedy films and shit. It's almost like a model. I think Monty Python did a sketch about it actually
yeah. I'm sure they've done something.
on the Flying Circus.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with those
And
guys.
but obviously, if you was in the middle of the ocean and you just were just there, and you had no sense of where land was, and then all of a sudden, you know, you start panicking, and what tends to happen is you're going to fuck that shitty little raft up anyway because it's full of air, and you're doomed. You know.
Yeah. God. Hopefully that
I
lasts.
lost half my. I did lose half my point there, trailing off.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the actual bit, you know, the Monty Python sketch.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which one. What one is that? There's all sorts of stuff where they're getting over in boats.
There's one where it's like two old men, and they're like in like what looks like a house, and then all of a
Oh,
sudden
that's
like they
true.
go
Yeah.
outside. They go outside, and it's like a boat, and they're in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And then some old women show up, and then like a fucking bus conductor or some shit like that. Like,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's
see,
nuts.
I just watched a movie. Been watching nothing but movies since I've been off, but I just watched Time Bandits, and there's the scene where they're on the boat, and then they're floating, and then all of a sudden the boat starts going up, and it's the guy
Excuse
wearing
me.
it as a hat. Pretty trippy stuff there. I don't know.
I haven't seen Time Bandits in a
Oh,
while.
it's a very psychedelic movie.
Yeah, I know it. It's an extremely psychedelic movie.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool, and it's really nice, and it's funny because it's smaller people or whatever. Whatever the.
Have we ever talked about Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
I don't know.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, well, I like
I don't
that
think
too.
we've ever. I don't think I've ever discussed Hunter S. Thompson on my show yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I love
I
Hunter
think
S.
I have.
Thompson. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, me too, and I know that you'd be a fan of it.
Oh yeah, huge fan. I'm a huge fan. It's funny because when Trump was running in this country, I was reading Fear and Loathing on the 1972 campaign trail.
Oh, the campaign trail.
And
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah.
like, so weird to see the things he was saying in that book being totally like spot on, relevant to what was going on in modern times, and thinking. And it wasn't like the specifics. It was just the attitude, and
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
wow, nothing's changed at all.
He met Bill Nixon as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Richard Nixon, sorry.
No.
Bill
He
Nixon.
talks about that too. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, there's talk. It was crazy. She had like a car and talked about football or some shit like that. Like, it's crazy. I love all of his books, man.
Yeah.
The House Angels. Have you heard the tapes? Because obviously he recorded a lot of his stuff as well.
Yeah, I've heard some of
there's
that stuff. Yeah, I like how.
Tons of audio, hours and hours.
Yeah. He's always good. And now I listen. Now I read and listen to Matt Taibbi, who's not as drug addled, but he's very. I don't know, like fight the power-ish kind of journalism, although he's a little more traditional, I think.
It's not quite, it's not gonzo journalism.
No, not really.
Like anti-establishment.
Somewhat. Some
know,
it's a little more, but it's a little more like, because that's the thing I liked about the Fear and Loathing on the campaign trail is it wasn't all about, you didn't hear how Nixon was a piece of shit or, or whatever.
No.
Great. You just heard weird stories about riding on a plane with Nixon, and it let you make up your mind, I guess. And I kind of like
the Kentucky Derby is a great one as well.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant story where him and his illustrator was
I'm trying to think of his
Terry. Is it?
He did an Ambrosia album cover.
Yeah, I know, he's so famous. This is another
I can't remember his
fact
name.
checker.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Benicio del Toro plays him in the movie. I can remember his name, but.
Oh no, that's completely different. That is the Benicio del Toro character is based upon a real guy.
But he plays the guy who does all the artwork and who did the drawings in his books.
No, you're wrong.
Well, who's that?
Wrong
then?
there, my friend.
Oh, that's fine.
The guy who was in Fear and Loathing, who he played, was based upon a real guy who was an attorney.
Yeah.
He's also the same guy who's in Where the Buffalo Roam. It's based upon the same guy.
Exactly.
But that wasn't the illustrator. The illustrator was. I hope that's you clicking and fact checking to save me. Pull it up. What's his fucking name? I thought it was Terry something, but I don't think it is. Let's have a look. The illustrator was Ralph Steadman. That was the fucking one.
I remember him.
But he went to obviously he's a English illustrator and whatever, and he went and did some work with Hunter S. Thompson at the Kentucky Derby and did all the crazy illustrations while obviously Hunter S. Thompson did the journalistic side. And obviously the story is crazy. Oscar, shit. I just had it on my fucking... that's the one, yeah. It's Real guy.
Yeah, it says here he's.
Went missing. Went missing.
What is it? What's that?
He went missing as well. There's loads of like lore and mystery behind it.
Yeah, that's right. He was the big Samoan.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. Yep.
That's right. That's who I'm thinking of. Interesting. Yeah, he is gone. Whatever happened to him? 1974.
Just vanished. Poof. But there was well, there's a lot of mystery to that. That's for a completely different show, maybe.
Yeah. His body was never.
I've got a lot about Hunter S. Thompson up here,
Oh, yeah.
but I need to probably revise it just once more before I did a heavy show about it. There's so much fucking crazy stuff. Like even them, like him and Bill Murray. You know, they were fucking good friends, and
That's right. That's because that's right. Because he did that movie that was so weird that he did.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Where the Buffalo roam, he did that, where Bill Murray played Hunter S. Thompson,
Yeah.
which kind of in a way was they did during that one because they sort of split it up into three different sort of journalistic pieces and moments that he did, and one of them was where they was going to cover the Super Bowl. Was one of them was the Super Bowl where they was meant to cover the Super Bowl, and Hunter S. Thompson just allegedly stayed in his hotel the whole time and got fucked up. And he'd never covered it. He flew out there, and it was he just stayed in his hotel and fucking just did him, you know. And yeah, there was that. There was a couple of little, but that was pretty accurate as well. The Rum Diary as well, Johnny Depp, but I think that was like based upon a book rather than real life. Some of it was a bit of real life, but wasn't completely.
I see.
You look heavy, like you're in
I'm
research
looking at
mode.
stuff 'cause it's saying a bunch of stuff. It's saying how it was commonly commonly believed that Ralph was talking about all the stuff with the Hunter S. Thompson and the Fear and Loathing trips, and it says it was Oscar Zeta Acosta and Ralph Steadman were confused regularly, and Hunter S. Thompson then he would play that up because it was part of the gonzo journalism of not crazed,
not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was he did the artwork for the book.
Oh yeah.
But they had obviously they worked together previously, but I'm sure that they first met at the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, funny.
And that story in itself is wild, man.
Yeah.
I used to have all of his books. I used to have all of his works, and because again, I used to be a heavy drug taker, so as an aficionado of that shit, I was like, yeah, he did all the good stuff. You ever seen what he used to do regularly each day?
Oh yeah.
The list is like start with cocaine, and then like some breakfast, and there's a drink and something else, and there'd just be this huge list of like his planned day of like mild substances and drinks and some food. And then in between that, it'd get to like 10 p.m. at night, and then it's like writing or whatever it was, some stupid time in the night where it'd just be all this day of getting fucked up, and then it'd come the night time, and then it'd just go into writing mode. It's
strange. Wow, I think you do it the opposite, but I guess
nah, that's how you. I think I mean, it's strange because I like to get fucked up and talk, and I'm trying to master that myself.
Yeah.
The best I've done is 13 beers, and I've still been able to keep my conversation going. I'll slow my words. There might be an occasional bit of dead thought, but
see, I'm thinking not even in terms of like the fucked up part. I keep thinking like just getting up, or like I guess like I would think like Like if I was gonna write a book, even if I was gonna get really stoned out of my mind, I would write the book in the daytime. Well, I got stoned out of my
Nah,
mind.
creativity. There's something about you being awake for a lot of time as well, where the creativity flows better.
Yeah. Sometimes I
You
feel
know,
like
you get a bit fucked up,
sometimes I
and
feel like when I first wake up, because there's that waking episode of
oh,
the
okay,
dream is some of
yeah,
the
yeah,
drug. I
yeah.
still got some of the dream drug in me, I guess. Maybe.
Occasionally, when I come out for my first smoke in the mornings,
Yeah.
so the way I start my day is I'll get up, I'll make a coffee, I'll skin up, and then I'll sit and I'll either catch up with what I've missed the night before,
Mm.
or I'll watch something. But occasionally, I'll get these little moments where I just write, you know, because like you say, you're in that weird creativity, lucid state of mind where you know your brain's it's so fucking fucked up and strange how it works sometimes.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can sit there all day trying to write and get nothing, but then you can wake up and be really sleepy and then just have this little tiny thought and then it sparks wildfire. You know, it's so fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like those mornings. It happens quite regular.
Mm.
Those little mornings. It's been a while since I've actually done any writing. I've had a few days off. I have got. I mean, again, what my process for my shows changed slightly.
Yeah.
Because I used to sort of write bits and then incorporate them into my show and see if it would work. But now what I do is I just talk a load of shit, see what works, and then you know go. That got a little bit of a laugh. We might work on that a bit better. Maybe use it a couple of times and gauge how it goes. But for a couple of the last episodes, I'm like, I actually need to get some topics. So I sort of put both of my processes together and just come up with a whole bunch of weird shit. And I now have like this whole weird stack of fucking post-it notes because my phone's full. There's just double-sided post-it notes just full of like random anecdotes and notes, and there's some weird shit in there, man. There's well, you wouldn't be familiar with the show, but there's a show in the UK called EastEnders.
Oh, I heard about it all the time. Who's the star of that
Oh,
show? I know all
okay.
about that show. I don't know, but
Okay.
stars on that show.
Nah, there's like a meme about a character called Pat Butcher, and I had a Scottish guy come on my show. Shout out to Michael Underwood, very funny guy. But he was talking about EastEnders because it's my parents. My mom loves it, and there's a weird thing about soaps and people in the UK. And he writes songs, and we were taking the piss, and I said, because I used to write music, and I said, do you want me to write a song about, you know, what do you want me to write a song about, essentially? And it was like, write a song. I'd love to do a Scottish accent now. It would kill it if I could. I'm not that confident yet. I used to be sick at accents, but I need to go off and practice them in the woods for like 3 hours, and then I'll be confident. But he told me to write a song about this character from EastEnders, Pat Butcher, being seduced by an alien, which is and the song is called "Opposites Attract," which is kind of, you know, you should probably get involved with this. You know, it's for all your weird trippy stuff. But I've literally got and what was weird is it was one of those mornings, and this is the only reason I bring it up, is I come down for a smoke the following morning after that show. And I sat here, I had my coffee, I sat here, and I remembered the night before, and I seen that one note had aliens, Pat Butcher, opposites attract. And I looked at it for a second, and then I was like, oh. And then I just grabbed my fucking pen, and then I literally wrote the whole fucking song in about 5 minutes flat. And I think it's pretty damn good.
Cool.
I've yet to send it him yet.
Yeah,
but
so what's the deal? You're gonna send him like, yeah. What's he gonna do with that?
Well, he's a guitarist, and I'll send you some of his stuff.
Okay. Well, listen
I'll
to the
send you
show.
some of it. Yeah. Listen to the show, but I'll send you a link to his music. I like it, man. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of what's the best way to? I mean, it's kind of, it's like a ballad kind of ish song, but it's not. It's I fucking love it. It's a good song, man. You actually, I'm sure you'd like it. It's
Yeah,
a crazy
good,
song.
good, yeah.
It's cool, man.
Well, yeah, for
I,
sure. I love songs.
it always wonders me what's on these notes. So much bullshit on them.
I don't have any notes here.
Do you never make it? Just people's names.
Yeah, I got names, and then here's something. It says Latreon, Latrin. I have no idea what that is.
Do you want to know something that I recently discovered?
What's that? Latreon?
No. That smoking essentially is better for the environment than vaping.
Ooh. What is that?
Well, I mean, think about all the batteries that are used to make e-cigs and all the chemicals needed to make juices and all the metals needed to make the machines, and then the machines need to make those machines. And whereas this has just been one solid process of paper, tobacco, and some weed.
Yeah.
Which can pretty much all grow. And hemp is, if you just used all hemp
Yes.
and just grew some tobacco, it's pretty simple. Whereas if you was to try and make your own vape juice and make your own batteries and machines, well, it's a weird take, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very true though. It's actually better for the environment.
Let's see what's
All those big hefty fuck off 18650 batteries.
So wait,
People charging them up all the time, all that power.
the vaping is better for that because of that.
No, smoking. Smoking's better than vaping.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, smoking's way better for the environment.
That's what
than
I
vaping.
thought. I got you.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I heard it right. Just wanted to clarify. I thought that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you were thinking. That's what you were saying. I just wanted to make sure that I was. Yeah.
It's a very strange. It was a note I made the other day that I was sat here thinking about smoking and then vaping because one of my friends vapes.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, well, I'm doing better for my body," and I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm kind of doing better for the environment."
Yeah.
Like, as a bit of a.
Body, though, I guess.
Not really. I recently blew up 50 balloons in about 10 minutes for my son's birthday with no real problem, and I smoke all day. So
yeah, I think people like vaping because if you live with your parents or something, you can do it in the garage.
Well, there's that.
That's right. Because or if you have kids and you don't want them to know what you're doing or something, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's why like I said in my previous shows where I was in the house and kitchen, I didn't smoke shit.
Yeah.
Whereas now when I'm out here, it's my own space.
Exactly.
The doors. Excuse me, the door's locked and my son's in bed. No one's coming out here.
Oh man.
My partner might call in. Maybe give me some fried chicken. Hopefully.
What time is it?
9:30. It's
Ooh.
pretty standard. What do you think about John McAfee? You heard about any of that shit?
Oh.
His death.
Yeah. I heard a little, but I don't know. Nothing too much.
Well, obviously, he was a wild character, and he was tweeting that before he died, that if he gets Epsteined off, he had a essentially 31 terabyte data leak on a dead man's switch that would release X amount of days after his death.
Ooh.
That would leak a lot of public information and data, and well, we don't know what it's going to leak or whether it's going to be true or you know.
Yeah, when is that going to happen? How much longer do we got to wait?
Well, I only found out about this, not long ago, so it's probably I don't know, I'd guess that we'd easily have maybe a month, if not more. I don't know.
Committed suicide.
Yeah, apparently hung himself. That's what I was saying. He said if I Epstein myself, yeah, it's probably not the case.
I get it. I see.
But obviously, because he created, one of the first, maybe not the first. I think maybe Norton antivirus was the first, but McAfee or McAfee,
whatever that is.
antivirus was one of the first,
Exactly.
essentially, in a way.
Interesting. Yeah.
It is. It's some fucked up shit, man.
That is unusual. Gosh,
A lot of people hanging themselves. That's what's so strange.
yeah. Not to mention, that seems like such an easy way to stop somebody from killing themselves in the prison.
Well, I know, not personally, but I know from what I've read and people that have been in prison, it's extremely difficult to kill yourself in prison. They take your shoelaces, they take anything in which they think you can hang yourself from, and there's very little that you can. If they think you're a suicide threat, they'll put you in a fucking box. Take your shoes, take anything that you can essentially choke yourself with.
Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, exactly. So the Epstein thing seems fake right from the get-go, and this does too.
So many fucking pieces of paper everywhere. Jesus.
Well, that's the way we live.
What's crazy is that wasn't even the piece. I've got a separate block of paper, and this ain't even that. I'd dread to think how many notes I've fucking wrote over the course of this month.
Interesting. The decentralized liquidity underwriter KUU partners with Benkai to scale DeFi on Avalanche. I don't know what any of these words mean.
I'm more interested in that little kitty that's in the background.
Oh yeah, that's where's that cat at? Oh, that's like an old dead cat. That's an old cat. That's an old cat. It's an old cat. But I gotta. There's another little kitty outside. That's why I had to buy 3 baby gates to block up my doorway so I don't have to close the door.
Oh, that's what that is. It looked like you had like trellis in your house. If you know what that is.
Yeah. Those are like the big gates for babies, and because I got a bunch of cats and they don't like each other. But yeah, that cat's getting old. She likes to stand. We'll have to figure that out. I gotta figure that out.
This show's always seems to be full of cats.
It is.
Mine hasn't come on once yet, but everybody else has.
Really? Well,
I'm a bit jealous, man.
Well,
cats haven't come on once.
If I went in the other room, it wouldn't be here. I should go shoot this in the other room.
Is that your next plan? That's what you should do, man. Over the next couple of days, set up a studio.
I'm going to. The next time we talk, it'll be all video recorded. It'll be recorded.
What was funny is the video actually broke up while you were saying that. It's almost like there was a glitch in the Matrix there.
It's gotta be. Do
you think we are living in some sort of simulation?
I think. Well, maybe. But no, I don't know. Maybe. I don't think we are.
A lot of stuff at the minute is coming out about Antarctica. You know much about that? And obviously Admiral Byrd and
I do know a little about
the big hole.
I'm still thinking about the simulation thing. Because I think that subject comes up a lot. That subject comes up a lot. Here's the problem with the simulation thing is that I guess the problem I have with all of that is why. What would be the purpose? Because if it's just there so that I can entertain myself by imagining things, I just don't see why that would continue or how that could continue. Now, if somebody was eating my thoughts or getting nutrients from my thoughts, then that would make sense. But I don't know why that would happen, or how that could happen. But maybe if something is exploiting my thoughts, it has to be so much smarter than me. It would be like me exploiting my cat. It'll never figure it out.
No, that makes sense.
There's the cat, like there. I can see it in the reflection, like there.
And I'm just,
See, it's like it's a spray to the other cat. It's like keeping a lookout. It won't turn its back to that cat.
That's the thing with cats. They know what's going on.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. All these beers, gassy, man. Beer and weed.
Beer. I gotta get some beer.
You
some beer. We'll get some beer later.
You should have had some for this show, man. You know what this show's about.
But I didn't have time. I was so busy.
You could have told me. You could have gone, hey Tim, I need to go and get some beer, and I'd have been like, yo, go for it.
I would have. I had to do this thing where I had to. Yeah.
In terms of, I mean, normally our shows are in the dead of night.
Exactly.
You know, whereas now for you it's like 5 p.m.
Yeah, I could never do this at normal times, but that's why this is a special one. And then
what, you couldn't do a show at normal times, or you couldn't do drinking? At
I don't. Times? Yeah, no, the show. Well, when I'm at work, I can't do the show.
Oh yeah. No, I get what you mean.
Time. But I can drink anytime. I can drink at any time. So I used to work.
Yeah, no, me too.
I start drinking at like 6 a.m. because that was my night.
Well, occasionally, and again, I don't mean to sound like an alcoholic, but occasionally, if I've got a couple of beers left over from the night before, and I wake up and I've not finished that beer, I'm like, I'll drink that, but then I'll just continue my day. I'll still have a workout. I'll still get on with shit.
I'm gonna go get some beer right now. I mean, today, I think, and do that tomorrow.
You should.
I'm gonna
fucking days off.
Well, I'm trying.
Days off, man. And it's good to get a bit of creativity going. Not unless you're getting fucked up on mushrooms or acid again.
I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm doing so much stuff lately. It's just crazy. That's why this podcast, this episode here, I'm going to take all this audio and translate.
Well, this is why I'm...
Could you translate this? Do they have automatic translators?
Oh... Maybe. Do you know if you played it? Maybe. Someone's got to have wrote that software somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to look for that.
Because they have it for films.
Yeah.
Or do they just have... Well, I don't know. They just have different voice actors.
Yeah. No, that is voice actors. But I think they've got it where it can, like, transcribe it.
Google can. But obviously it would come out as a shitty robot voice.
Yeah, that's right.
Huh.
Ooh, that'd be funny.
If you could create some sort of algorithm based upon some sexy woman's voice, you get away with it.
I'm going to see if... how do you do this?
Who would you pick?
Who's that? A sexy woman's voice?
Who would you pick?
I don't know who sexy women are. I don't know who's the sexy women are these days. I don't know who sexy women are ever. I don't know who women are.
Do you know? Here's a strange one.
Nicole Kidman.
Not.
Because I just.
Oh, is that just because you watch? Just because you watch that film? Just because you're seeing her fucking taking a fucking kit off.
Yeah. Yes. That's right.
Oh, here's a strange one. Do you know Avril Lavigne's made a comeback?
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, it's like, but she looks the same.
Huh.
Like, do you know that whole conspiracy that there was certain celebrities that died and were cloned?
Oh yeah.
And she was one of them. She looks the same. It literally, I almost believe that conspiracy, as wild as it is. Because if she'd have come back after, well, she looks like she was when I was 13. So we're talking 17 years ago. You know? So she, even if she was 20 then, she'd be, you know, fucking almost 40 now. You'd expect some sort of difference.
Yeah. Weird.
How fucking is she, man? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I should have looked this up, man. Nothing against, nothing against her, but I've seen like things years ago, and she looked worse than what she did now, which is crazy. She's 36, but again, I've seen this weird little TikTok clip, and she looks amazing. But she looks like the spit of what she did. The Tony Hawk was in the video as well. They literally did the Skater Boy video,
Oh, really?
and it was like, yeah, but it was Tony Hawk.
Oh.
But when you look at her, you're like, wait, what? She looks the fucking same. But then if you go Google image, it's completely different.
Oh, really? Here, look at it. Here.
It's crazy. You'll immediately see and be like, wait, what? She looks like she's fucking like 20, if that. It's like,
yeah. I don't know about this Avril Lavigne.
it's bizarre. It was so strange. Either that, or I was just super high and drunk at the time, and I had extreme beer goggles.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that when I looked at it, my memory is always based upon my reaction. And I remember looking at that and going, wait, what? She's hot as fuck.
When I'm looking at these
It's crazy.
pictures, she almost looked like, yeah.
Oh, do you know who she looked like? She looks like a bit in some of the pictures. Oh, shit. The name was just on the tip of my tongue then. Forget about it. I totally forgot.
Here's the thing, that she was replaced by a body double, but she looks, when you put the two next
Yeah,
to each other, she does look like a little girl in the young.
Yeah, it's so strange. It's conspiracies. They say that about a lot of celebrities, that they were fucking cloned because I don't know. They say it about Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, and
Well, they all get plastic surgery, so none of them are going to look alike. They're the same, I mean.
yeah, Eminem was another one as well.
Yeah, what did he do? He's still alive.
No, nothing. No, but they reckon that even he was a clone.
Well,
They reckon that the conspiracy is, and again, it's all bullshit, is that he overdosed or some shit, and then because he was so big at the time, they replaced him with a clone.
Oh, no.
Bear in mind, these are the same people that are into QAnon and whatever.
No.
I'm not. I believe in cloning, but not like that.
He was back near Detroit. He's got a home and.
Oh yeah, it's the same guy.
Oh yeah, that's what.
Beyond a doubt.
That's what you would want to do, because here's the thing with a guy like him. Well, here's the deal with him. He's super famous, but in Detroit he's sort of known, so he could be a billionaire because money goes a lot further in Detroit than it would in New York City. So he would live there, keep a low profile. People would take care of him. He wouldn't have to go anywhere. And he probably would tell people, oh, yeah, Eminem died a few years ago, because that means people stop bothering him.
Yeah. Well, a lot of,
that's what I do. Like whenever I quit a job, I don't quit the job. What I do is I fake my death, and then I have my family quit the job for me. It's so much easier.
Do you know that is one of the most fucking amazing things I've heard on this show. You see, see, I love it. Sometimes people just make me laugh, but then when I when I find something truly funny, I laugh. Externally, I'm like holding it, but internally, I'm like, bah! Like that was one of the funniest things ever. When I leave a job, I don't give them notice. I just fake my death.
Goodbye to everybody.
You could write a good bit about that,
No, I seriously tried doing that. I think about doing that all the time.
You should, man. That's extremely funny.
Yeah. See, in this country, though, you need to get unemployment, and they don't give it to you if you die. Like, they don't give it to you if you quit either, so never mind.
Well, I mean, do you know what? Here's a strange one.
Yeah.
It's going to sound somewhat ignorant, but I only realised what the word emancipation was today. It's kind of weird.
Well, it's not that weird.
It was, well, it doesn't really crop up heavily in terms of UK terminology, slang, or in just any sort of modern day chat. But um, obviously, I'm more plugged into a lot of America than I am the UK. And obviously, well, you know, it's not like it's something that isn't heavily talked about. But it was just one of those things that it just kind of brushes, you know, do you know, like, if you can just listen to someone talk and just listen to all of it, but be more mesmerized by what they say than look into what they're saying. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And a lot of that's happened over my life just because I've been younger, and now I'm getting older. I'm like, let's look into what most of all of these words mean. Rather than just listening to what the guy's saying, let's physically look at what the guy is saying. And and it's weird because I was listening to a song, and it was by Akira the Don, who does a lot of like kind of semi-motivational songs, and he did one with like Theo Von, and you know who Theo Von is? Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah, I've actually
yeah,
heard with
yeah, it's extremely good. It's from the UK as well, which is cool. But I was listening to the song, and obviously Theo Von spoke about in one of the songs about being emancipated at the age of like 14. And like when I heard that, and I'd like listen to the song, and then I like replayed it over in my head because I listened to the tune first, and I was like, this is such an amazing song. And then obviously when I listened to it the second time, I was like, what does emancipated mean? Because I was just kind of, you know, it's not like I'm completely ignorant, but sometimes people just think they know stuff, but they actually don't know shit. And I kind of learned that today just by listening to a song.
Interesting.
You know, and I was like, and it was kind of a weird moment, but an educational moment.
See, now in America, when Abraham Lincoln did
Yeah,
the thing, he did the Emancipation Proclamation.
Payson
And
Proctor.
they
Yeah,
forced that
yeah.
upon us as children. They not force us. I mean, you learn that, and you have to learn
Yeah.
what the word means. I think. I remember when I was a kid, they taught us what the word scarcity meant at a very, very young age. And I got nervous because I thought, why do they want me to know this in the word now?
It's just, I mean, obviously in the UK, it just crops up in like media. It doesn't really crop up in our like real law or anything like that, because if it kind of does, because we have social services and you know they can come and take your kids away, but it's not called emancipation. You know, it's people, we just say, oh, the social services come around, took little fucking Sarah. You know what I mean? Or, oh yeah, do you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at? But like, it was just one of those weird learning moments today where you just listen to something and you go, I've heard that word for so many times. So many different fucking. It was even in South Park. You know, South Park the movie with Chef. Even he goes, "You ever heard of the Emancipation Proclamation?" You know.
Yeah.
And yeah. There's tons and tons of but it was just a weird sort of moment where I'm like getting a bit older now, and I'm like, let's kind of look into a lot of these words just of what I'm taking in. I think we just take words for granted.
Oh yeah.
We don't really know the meaning of a lot of words and where it all stems from.
Yeah.
I think it's etymology or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it's called. I think I forget something like that though. I never know. Yeah.
Could be wrong with that.
When I was doing like a couple of weeks ago, I was driving and I saw a license plate for the state of Kansas and the state of Arkansas, and it never occurred to me that they're the same word basically, and they're spelled the same. And I never knew that.
Oh.
Yeah. See, and I thought, man, I'm like a super old man, and I like never knew that.
I don't even know that, but the minute you said that, because it's just an anagram.
What it was I was in Kansas Kansas, and I saw an Arkansas license plate, and I saw Arkansas, and I started thinking, oh wow, that's the same word. And then I thought, wait a minute, it's the same word, and it's just got 2 letters difference, and we pronounce them differently. So I've never thought of it, and it doesn't mean anything, but it was weird for me because I thought, God, am I an idiot? Does everyone in the world know this already? And I never.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I think you've just stumbled
I
on
had no
something.
clue.
You do... Did you Google it?
Oh, I did. Well, I did, and it
Don't.
is spelled the way I thought it was.
Yeah, because even I'm sitting here spelling it in my head, going, "Am I right? Am I right?" Oh shit!
Yeah, but it's weird too.
How did that come about? Because there's got to be a story to that.
Because exactly. I didn't.
There's got to be a story. They can't have just gone. There's always a story to something. They would have known that. Whole bunch of people naming a fucking place. They would have gone, nah, because people would see that the
they're right
changed.
next to each other. So if you were raised in either of those states, you would probably be aware of this all along because you've never not seen those words together. But the names, the names of these neighboring states actually come from 2 different Native American languages.
Oh, okay.
And the one, Arkansas, was called Akansa, which is basically the same without the last S and the R. And then the Algonquin people, and then Kansas derives its name from Kansa, which is a tribe upon the middle. But those words are like 1 letter apart. So basically, the point
that's
is
where
Americans had no originality.
Yeah. No, I think it's actually the fact that it does. That's again, that's where it all boils down to. It's just all to do with Native Americans. They were probably just family tribes, and again, us motherfucker, us and you, we fucked them up.
That's not that. That doesn't really answer the question, sort of. But who knows?
No, well, it doesn't. But I'm sure if you'd keep delving further into that, there's probably if they just derived it from the tribes, I'm sure a lot of states probably like that. I'd imagine.
It's strange. I guess it is the same root word. The name of Kansa meant people of the south wind. Oh, well, then that answers it. That's why, then. That's all they had to say. Well, there you go. It's answered.
So it's the same root word,
it's the same root word.
Essentially.
But it's from the language of the people who we slaughtered.
People of the south.
So we didn't want to talk about it too much because it's embarrassing to talk about that.
It's kind of fucking crazy, though, that we'd go and slaughter... Well, not we, but people slaughtered them and then was like, what should we name this place? Oh, I know. Let's just fucking call it Arkansas.
Exactly.
Was it Arkansas? Would you say Arkansas? I don't know.
No, it's Arkansas and Kansas.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, exactly. We slaughtered all these people. Now let's pay tribute to them by naming this after them.
Naming it.
But that's what they did. That's what they did. Where I grew up, I went to a bunch of schools, and all the schools were named after the Native American tribes that used to live on that land or something like that.
Our school, we had it was split, so you'd have like your year, and then you have like groups, almost a little bit like Hogwarts.
Oh, really?
Strangely enough, yeah. In terms of even the colours, there was a red, blue, green, and yellow. What the fuck? That's crazy. But it was named after like local areas, which was weird. There was like a Caldicot, an Arbery, an Ansley, and someone else. Can't remember the other one. But that's so weird, actually, thinking about that. There's the same colours. 4 houses.
Don't they call them things like...
I wonder if that's traditional.
What do they call it? Something like... I'm trying to think of in English. They could say, like, this is where... I don't even know what I have. I'm trying to think of, like, old... I think it's like Arthur kind of stuff.
Oh, do you know what I think about King Arthur?
Yeah, what about it?
lately during lockdown, I've decided to look into history and then into myths, and I think that a lot of it all crosses over. I think that we was around when the dinosaurs were here, and we were probably just fighting off maybe the last of the pterodactyls, and that's maybe where the dragons come into play,
Yeah, that's what I think.
you know, because these big fucking winged reptiles sweeping out the sky, taking children, you would want to kill that fucking thing.
Oh yeah,
There'd be an uproar,
horses are
especially
like.
after a
If
big,
you ever get next to a horse,
you know.
a horse is pretty big. And I was thinking, man, if this was like just a little bit bigger, it would be the size of like a giant monster animal.
Yeah, and creatures used to be bigger anyway, the megafauna and shit.
Yeah.
It's like there used to be giant fucking sloths and shit that used to go into the ground and dig tunnels that were like 10 foot high.
What happened?
You know what the fuck? The aliens come down, that's what
Exactly.
happened, man. They come down, they fuck with us. Here's another strange one is I was watching a documentary and it was talking about how aliens apparently fuck with us and about certain like things in myths and legends like chimeras and minotaurs and centaurs were like a was an imperfection of us essentially, and then the reason why the Great Flood happened was to essentially wipe most of those fucked up creatures out. It's a weird documentary,
Yeah.
but I could kind of believe some of it in a way. Because where did people's imagination come from to go, hey, let's do we're going to take these 5 animals, merge them into one. We're going to take this fucking lion and a goat and a snake and we'll put some wings on there, and then we'll make a story. We'll make a story about a guy who's going to go and fight it. It's kind of fucking stupidly fictional.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, man.
I always assume that things like that started out where he started out and he was fighting
Non-fictional, sorry.
overblown over what is that?
Yeah, I meant non-fictional.
Like I always feel like things like that started out probably based on like how he fought like a dog, and then it turns into he fought a flying dragon. It was a dog. It was a big dog. It was more like a lizard dog. This lizard dog could jump so high. This lizard dog could fly. It was a flying dragon. Bam. Something like that.
But there's just so many of them, and maybe it could have been true because loads of history's been wiped off the face of the earth. We don't even know.
Or there might have been like because supposedly so many species go extinct every year. There might have been a holdover from the dinosaurs. It was like a giant flying lizard thingy, and people could have written about it, but there were only like 12 of them, and they were extinct. They were endangered species.
Well, birds survived. You're telling me at one point there wasn't some big ass bird?
See, they're small.
That survived.
They're small, and that's the thing too. Big things like with dogs. A big dog. If you take a dog and a cat, a tiny little cat, the big dog eats so much food. The little cat eats barely any food. So if we sent them both out into the wild, that dog's got to hunt and get a lot of food. That cat finds a mouse and it's done for the day. So I feel like that might be what happened. The dinosaurs just couldn't do it. There weren't enough elephants. We ate all the elephants here. We have to go eat more elephants.
I do think we kind of live side by side. It's ridiculous to say that we didn't.
Like I said,
I almost
wonder if we had bigger reptiles, like big. Because again, too, horses look gigantic. If you ever seen like an alligator or one of those kinds of things, those are gigantic, and those look like fucking dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
you go to Florida now. Even the big fucking snakes.
And if you got one that was if you took an alligator now and you made it just even like take its size and then make it like 1/4 of a size bigger, that would be a dinosaur. And these things are getting smaller, supposedly, maybe.
Well, imagine if Komodo dragons were as big as the biggest alligators in Florida,
Exactly.
you'd be fucked.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whacking you with its tail, splitting all your
Exactly.
fucking shins open, spitting venom at you.
I know.
You'd be fucked.
And whales and all that stuff. Exactly. Exactly. So there's big things. But
Like sea monsters, man, they were probably real.
oh,
But nuclear explosions in the sea probably fucking killed them bad
well,
boys.
yeah, we all know that's what sets them free. I saw that in a movie. A few years ago.
So, that's what sets them free. That was
Destroy all monsters, I think. Or was it?
No, it was
Or is it one of the Godzilla ones? Oh well, they did it in a bunch of them.
Pacific.
Oh yeah. Pacific Rim. Yeah, exactly. You're right. But that's almost based on because I was watching a bunch of those old dinosaur movies.
The kaijus,
Yeah,
that is. It's all based on the old Japanese kaijus.
Well, all of the Godzilla stuff was real Japanese. Well,
yeah, it was all Japanese.
Exactly. It's good stuff.
I was talking about this as well, is that a couple of shows ago, is that a lot of Japanese culture, even back in the day, influenced most cartoons. You know, Transformers, Power Rangers. There was so many of them that were heavily influenced by Japanese culture because they just bought them because they could make the toys and they could pump the toys and the merch quicker, and then they just rip the shows off.
Yeah. Jeez, that's right. It's weird because I once worked on a movie and one of the guys said he was a kid. He was an older guy then, but he said he was one of the Power Ranger kids or whatever, and or something like that. And I said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, I thought that was shot in Japan, and we just overdubbed the voices." But he said that they had to do certain things in, and they did redo certain things that didn't make sense culturally.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he said they basically just did that.
That was they did it a lot for like hefty amounts of years.
Yeah.
It's kind of even like Pac-Man. That was Japanese, and might have been Chinese or whatever. Nintendo. Whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many. Let me just get this motherfucker back up and
What are you getting back up?
Oh no, just my smoke, man. I know. It's a continuing thing at the minute, keeping this motherfucker going throughout the whole show.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not. This is about my 7th spliff. I don't know.
Oh,
11
right.
off.
Well, yeah, here, if you want to like call it a day, we could do.
Yeah, well, if you want. I mean,
I'm gonna cut this.
I'm cool.
Great. This will be 3 shows for me, and that'll get me through the month, and then I can get to August and we can talk again sometime. I'm gonna be in Wisconsin.
The way you said that.
Yeah, you ever?
But no, man.
How would you
that's
say
all
Wisconsin?
cool.
Wisconsin. That's the proper way. We say
Wisconsin.
See, that's the thing that Americans do. Americans would say Wisconsin, or we say like I work with a girl, and her name is God, what's her fucking name? I forgot her name. I hope I think she's one of the people that listens to the show. So her name is Sally. That's the one I'm talking about. But it's
Sally.
a name where it's like no, it's I don't want
Sally.
I don't want to say her name on the thing. So what it would be is like some people would say Amanda, and some people would say Amanda. That's a bad word.
Amanda.
Amanda. I said, well, the proper word would be Amanda. Yeah, there's a word to but no, I was corrected. It's Amanda.
I used to have a French teacher who was French Canadian.
Ooh.
And he used to pronounce the word candy like candy.
Oh, really?
yeah.
Interesting.
It was crazy. It was a cool guy, but because of what he taught, and we was a bunch of ruthless kids, we was a bit savage. His name was Mr. Leclerc.
Interesting.
Cool guy.
No, I had a French teacher that was the same thing. And he was a really cool guy. And he spoke French Canadian. Well, he spoke French. But
Yeah, he'd go, would you like some
See,
candy?
but we didn't
So-
notice
so-
it. He would make fun of us all the time. People make fun of that all the time. When I lived in California, people make fun of it all the time, and people from other countries. But yeah,
So if you used to, before we
Yeah.
finish up, if you used to try and mimic this phrase,
okay. I can do any accent.
would
Want
you
me to do
like-
an accent?
just in all right, any action, you can do
I can't really
any
do
accent. Ah, you should have said,
But
you should have
no,
said
no.
that. Just no, in your best British
Yeah.
accent.
Well, which
Just
kind
go,
of British? Because they're too British. The hoity-toity British, which is the... Isn't that...
Yeah, no, I
And
know
then there's
that.
the there's
That
Joel
doesn't
Lennon
really
Brit.
exist.
There's the Joel Lennon Brit or whatever that. Yeah.
Just not like my common.
You're common. You're
you know,
speaking in a common.
Yeah.
sense. Well, that's the.
All right. So say, would you like some morning tea?
Would you like some morning tea? That's pretty good, man. That was right on. Spot on.
That was
Spot
pretty
on.
good. Oh, that was pretty good. Listen, where can everybody follow you, my
Oh, yes,
friend?
everyone can follow me on the Shotgun Mike host up the show. It's on the bloody. It's on the bloody Facebook and the Twitter and all that. I can't think of the things. Odds and sods. Yeah, there's people.
Odds and
That's a Who record.
sods.
That's the only reason I know that. That's an easy one. Bob's your uncle. That's a good one. Huh? I had to ask somebody what that meant.
Odds and sods.
Yes, but, yes, that's all
Yeah,
this
Bob's
stuff.
your uncle is Bob's your uncle's a strange one because even for us English people, it's weird.
Why is that? Because here's the thing. Because I asked an English friend about this a long time ago, and he said that you're supposed to say, "And Fanny's your aunt."
And Fanny's your aunt. Yeah, that's a
That
really
was-
old.
I wasn't sure if that
Yeah,
was
that's a
right.
really old sort of
That's
old
what
English.
he said. He said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was this. Yeah. Because I heard this thing about. Yeah. Interesting.
But anyway, listen, this is
Well, I'm
been
going to
the
use this audio too, so you got to say where you're at, so that people can listen to yours.
I don't even oh, for your show.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I'm
Well,
gonna-
I don't
I'm
really
gonna hijack it,
no,
but I'm gonna raise it on.
nah,
it.
you can hijack it. I don't normally shout out. You can follow me Posthuman Podcast pretty much anywhere. Patreon, Spotify, Anchor.fm. If you want to shoot me a message on Twitter, it's at posthumantim. If you want to come on the show, email me, posthumanpodcast@gmail.com. We're very loose. I say we. That's me. It's just me.
So you got a mouse in your pocket?
I wished.
Aw.
No, sorry. I could have done a good bit there. But no, but no, I wished I had it in my
Yeah.
fucking pocket now because I should have put it in there
Starving.
pre-show.
I wish I had a mouse in my pocket.
But now, listen, this has been the Posthuman Podcast with Shotgun Mike, and we'll catch you all later, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you very much.